Hello and welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. I don't know the date today. I think it's the 18th of... Yep.
May.
And I'm joined by 2023 Eurovision Song Contest winner. This is Patrick Sklar, feeling better in the remote flesh. How's it going, man? It's been a minute.
Thank you. I am feeling a lot better. Of course, there is a big conspiracy to do with Eurovision that we will not be getting into. That did Sweden win? Never
Sweden
mind. I'm not going to
won.
get into it.
Yes.
Sweden won, and like next year's the 50th anniversary of ABBA's win.
hmm
Like something's going on there,
I
right?
think it's planned. I'm pretty sure the Eurovision people are like really holding on to the whole ABBA relevance. I think for them, it's like the most
Yeah.
important piece of
Is
information they have because Eurovision, I don't know if they've been producing the sort of like, it's hard to compare anyone to ABBA. I think they should have maybe I don't sunset it 50 years ago. It was really fun. Did you
yeah,
watch it?
yeah. Like they should have realized they hit their. I didn't watch this year's. I have watched some previous years, and I enjoyed them. Uh, Yeah, and like it's fun that they introduce like, hey, Australia, you get to be an honorary European country, right? for
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 some
a
reason.
for a
There's a
night.
bunch of
I mean,
countries that
yeah,
are not
Montaigne is gonna sing.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's some countries that are strictly not European that end up in there, but I'm not sure how it works. I think this is probably like really, really unapproachable for the North American audience that's watching at this time. How's it going, by the way? Stab
100%. Yeah.
Tabby. Funny Metro
Mhm.
stream bottom text. I don't know what that means, man. And I read that while we were like in the green room, and I was worried that
Yeah.
there was like it was not appropriately set up. So I
Mhm.
yeah. Honorary European country. Yeah, there's a couple countries that participate in Eurovision that aren't strictly in Europe, right? Like Israel is not Europe from my understanding. Australia is not Europe for sure. I think there's another one. Armenia is in Asia. It's not European, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Also the UK, but no, they're in Europe, not the EU. Hey, how's it going
mm,
quietly? Britain says no EU, so Australia gets to come in.
mhm.
One out, one in. That's how it goes. How's it going? Hey Thanos, hey Pat's top marks. Yeah, we're going to do some mark stuff tonight. I think we're going to play some good stuff, criminal. Mind you, it's CO season, so a lot of people are sorting their stuff out. I know there's two big circuit openers that are happening in the northeast of the states this weekend. I think there's one in, I'm pretty sure it's in Boston, and then there's one in New York City. So that's going to be really exciting for those who can get involved there. I'm not going to be there. It's kind of far away. But we have our next circuit opener, which is going to be the following. It's on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully I'll see you there, Pat.
Yeah, me too. It's a Saturday, right?
Yeah,
At Abyss
same place,
in the East.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Thanks, Jesse. I am feeling better. Uh, just a little bit stuffed up, but honestly, feeling way better than it was last week, and even better than what I was the week before. So happy to
it
be here.
only gets better. Isn't that nice? Imagine how good you're gonna feel in four to
That's how it
six
works.
weeks.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
Can't wait. How's it going, Jesse? Good evening. This is Decklist of the Week. This is Express Shipping. This is an ob deck that take first place at a CO in Melbourne. Really cool. OS Intelligence also played a deck that we did a deck dive on this channel. I don't even know if there's any cards changed. Oh, no, it shouldn't be published deck list, should it? Yeah, maybe they did publish it. But in short, they played the sort of Nexus 419 list. Yeah, Metropole Grid's auto dialer. That's what it was called.
Mm,
And did quite well with it at the event. So we're going to see, again, I think this is unchanged card for card. I think there's some small changes you could definitely make to this deck. I think playing a single mutual favor makes sense. Again, if you want to watch the video, it's on the channel where I go through my thoughts, but I really, really like this deck. But on the other side is this is Express Shipping as a fast advance ob deck. It's got a lot going on from a distance. Some parts of it to me, maybe it's just outsider art that I don't perfectly know, but we'll talk
uh,
about this because op decks are, I don't know. I feel like we could just play op decks forever. I don't think any other of the IDs really matter.
I you know that I agree with you, but yeah, I was also looking at this as the deck list of the weekend and thinking it through. It's got a lot of interesting choices. Like obviously, it's like
Yeah,
it goes hard into fast advance. There's like 5 plus different fast advance. No, there's like four. There's 4 different fast advance
there's a lot
tools
of
here,
fast
right?
advance tools. Yeah, no, it's really
Mhm.
cool. And I think for what it's worth, and we did a video earlier this week talking about how fast advance, and we did a Trickleite, very simple built to last deck that we did and we published on the channel. And I think fast advance right now goes like somewhat unchallenged. The idea is that like Clot is like the big thing that deals with fast advance really well and is generally only played by shapers because this card's only very good if you can pull it at instant speed in the way that it kind of interrupts the fast advance. No one's playing shaper. No one's playing Shaper.
Mhm.
So you can kind of just get away with it. And so maybe just having enough weird fast advance tools that your opponent doesn't know how to deal with and the flexibility of op, I think is really, really cool.
And even if they are, the Mavarus is is just a value card in op. It's not
Yeah.
a cost to pay 3 to trash this and then get a 2 cost thing out. Like that Ob wants to.
Yeah,
It's waiting for you to pull down
I
that
think
Ob.
even if you don't play fast events, I would like Mavirus as sometimes a 3 of an op list, depending on what the op list is
Mhm.
trying to do. And there's so many different ways you can build op lists. So we'll talk about this one in just a second. Just want to catch up on chat. Hey, Baz, I don't
Yeah,
know if
yeah,
I
yeah, of
said
course.
hi. Hey, Slumir, how's it going too? It's a Path stream this week. Yeah, this is the issue where, like, if we miss the Path stream on the top of the month and then, like, we wait 2 more weeks, in theory, the Path
Mhm.
streams are now only going to be 1 week apart, which, like, legally, you kind of have to
It
spread
gets a
them.
bit iffy. It's
Yeah.
like, lunar calendar holidays meeting up with, statutory holidays.
Yeah.
It's just not yeah.
Yeah. 1 year, Christmas happened twice on the same day.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Two Santas got stuck in the same singularity, the same geoposition, and kind of exploded. It kind of an Akira-style Santa Claus situation in my chimney.
Kalana, how's it going? Hey, Andre. Hey, Patton Stream. How you doing, Kalana? Hope you're doing well. I played the FA deck you posted. It was tons of fun. I'm like at the point where I think so. I posted the FA deck and I think I wanted the intros. I had to record that intro twice because they're getting way too long and I feel self-conscious about it. But I feel like when I first recorded it, I said this is a deck that I think is pretty consistent, but I'm not sure how competitive it is. And I honestly think it's actually relatively okay. I didn't do enough testing against a wide enough field to be like, how does it work against 419 with like economic denial, which is probably not the easiest
I
matchup.
I just kinda scanned that video and I
Yeah.
saw a lot of Anarch.
It
I
was
saw a lot of
exclusively
red at the
Anarch.
top of the screen. Yeah,
I
okay.
played 8 games only against 2 IDs. It
Mhm,
was like buck wild. So at least it was a nice way to like talk about ESSA because ESSA is really, really popular right now. So
mhm.
I think it might be a bit better than I think it is, but I have to do enough testing on the field. I don't know. Maybe you can be brave enough to play it at an event at GNKSCO, whatever you think.
Mhm.
Hey, it's OS Intelligent. Hey, Andre Pat. The name's Ed. Hey, Ed. Had a chance to
Hey,
review and
Ed.
improve this deck heaps already thanks to community suggestion and even Jeff's stream yesterday. Keen to hear your thoughts. Awesome. Sick. Okay. So definitely pipe in on your local knowledge here. I watched Jeff last night too, and I think Jeff had some struggles with this deck as well to some extent. But we're going to obviously play it, and I'm interested to see what your changes are. But this is off the top what I think about this deck, right? And it's worth knowing. I generally have takes on decks. Playing the deck list a week every week kind of gets you to that really, really, really salty place. But the understanding here is that we're often wrong, but at least it's important to understand looking at things, what things look like. Turns out Anarch is a lot of the meta right now. I feel like ESSA is every deck right now, and people are like actually expecting ESSA to perform really well at events, and ESSA is starting to perform really well at events. So yeah, buckle in. Okay, op for the uninitiated, you get this ridiculous ability where the first time a turn, or not first time, once a turn, when you trash a card, you can go find a card, install it, res it for free, cost 1 less. There's some conditions on what considers trashing. Sorry, you can't exactly see the text. Let me crush these. Not that it's like a Doomtown card, the amount of text on this one. Oh, Pat, I got my Doomtown box. Doomtown's still so
Oh,
good.
nice.
It's still so good.
Hey, together we have a full playset.
We have a full play set. Oh man, Doomtown's great. So
Mhm.
the idea here is we're a bit of a fast events deck. Our agenda suite is actually kind of strange. So we want to score it a 7, and that's actually pretty easy in a lot of ways. We have a lot of 2-pointers, not as many, almost as many as you can play, right? Like we have 3 SDF, 3 Atlas, 1 above the law. So we have 7 3 2s, and you can fast advance these out with a lot of the tricks we have. Then we have 1 single SDS drone deployment. I'm not a big fan of this. This is a big old 5/3 that its ability and its defensiveness is like, and its offensiveness is like not very integral to our deck. I don't think we can capitalize too well on like wanton program destruction, and I don't think targeted program destruction does it, let alone if you're playing against mostly ESSA into Anarchs. Like this thing trashes a botulus in the best case. Trashing a bin breaker doesn't matter. So whether you want to just spend an influence on global food initiative here so the runner can't possibly win on 3 agenda scores, that's something that we have to actually put into the
That
agenda math simulator to see how much that matters.
that's actually what I was already thinking. Given other things about this deck, I might change for my own taste. Like it seems to have done quite well, but I was looking at it like I feel like I could squeeze one influence out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we can run it through the expected maths. Again, I don't know how excited you are to score this, but there's a chance that you could run a food and maybe it has an impact. There's 2 Doontowns that's so fun and so good in the chat. It really is. It's kind of like we Doomtown tangent last week. Did you find Alan Campbell yet? I'm just gonna say this one narrative, one story. So we were rereading the
Alan Campbell.
rules, and the rules in the Doomtown, the Weird West edition, the rules are 99% the same. One of the things they changed inherently was Kung Fu, which is not a system that I interacted with playing Doomtown back in the day too much. And when I was reading out loud the rules for Doomtown, there was a situation where they give you like, here's an abstract idea. And so they're like, okay, so-and-so is doing a shootout versus Alan Campbell. And we read the name Alan Campbell, and I laughed. I'm like, that is the most boring name for like any character in a Wild
Right.
West.
And I will get that card right now. I see.
Yeah, just the most boring name possible.
Mhm.
And I laughed about it. And then later on, I drew the card from my deck that was Alan Campbell, and I absolutely cracked up laughing so hard because it turns out
Mhm.
boring old Alan Campbell is a goddamn wolf. And specifically, the flavor text is Tarnation ain't no such thing as werewolves. Besides, if they were, it ain't going to be called Alan. Jimmy
They
Suggs'
got you.
final words. They totally got me. Final words.
They fucking
That's
got you.
so funny. Alan Campbell slaps. I'm into that.
Mhm. That's really funny.
I was a degenerate clown control player. They really changed how the spells, a lot of the spells work in terms of control. They're less, I think, less degenerate. Like they're a bit more tactical. They're less like full on control. Well, like unfair control. I like it a lot better. Bioshock thinks we're playing, YouTube thinks we're playing Bioshock Infinite. I generally change that after the stream, but generally the singularities to Magic the Gathering at some point. XW2, yeah, we just did a Doomtown tangent. We got to get back on here because Ed is listening to us go through his deck. So we're going to finish this off before we tangent again. But welcome. How you doing? Let's go
Yeah, I would
Doomtown.
probably drop the extract and go for a sun in your eyes. I just think it's going to get you more utility in the meta.
They balanced that one out a fair bit. Okay. Last agenda here is Standoff. This card's really weird. You don't see a lot of it in generally anything besides Jemison. Its ability, I was surprised that it actually is technically an op ability because you can trash something.
Yeah, I actually didn't ever think about
Yeah.
putting this in op, but it's very funny in op.
We mentioned this last week, and I don't love this card. I think drawing a card at the end of your turn is pretty awkward a lot of times. It's technically the worst time to draw a card a lot of the time. The money you get on this is like okay to mediocre. Again, some Anarchs will rip their board up, but it's like fine. It's okay. The reason we're playing this is because we're playing other things that require you to forfeit agendas to res them, like Archer or what's called Oberth Protocol, and that's like that takes a lot of slots for something that is kind of conditional and positional and all this sort of like temporal issues. So again, probably less consistent, but we'll see how it goes. On the assets, we have 3 Yoshida, fantastic. We have 3 Spin Doctors, of course we do, and we have a single Regolith mining license. I think from the distance, this deck doesn't look like it has a lot of money at all.
Not at all.
I think it's very easy to put a lot of just like 2 costs, 1 costs, and Regolith is just a slapper in the deck in general. It's a sort of card that you want to get on tempo, and then you can just extract it. You can end it so it becomes a 1 coster once you finish it. There's a lot of things you can do to get value from Regolith. People play Maryland too, which is like okay, but you get good value from these sort of like.
It does have one economy card that I'm 100% into that I think is going to do a lot of work.
Avdikov?
No, I was talking about hedge fund. Everyone's favorite. No, of course I'm talking about Yakov.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. In terms of fast events, we have 2 Audacities. Audacity is great. You can't really play 2 in a hand, but having 2 means you'll definitely find one at one point in time. Again, with Alice tokens, there's a chance you can play 1 fewer and play 1 Audacity and get to it in every game, but 2 is like pretty consistent. We have 2 Biotic Laborers. That's a lot of influence. There's a lot of ways, a lot of cards you can put in your deck to help you fast events out. Again, we did a Trick of Light built the last deck earlier this week. I think that card is less influence, but requires more setup. This is more expensive, but very flexible. Powerful card. Hopefully how we win. We need 7 credits to score an agenda. We have 3 Hedge Fund and we have 2 Extract. There's a chance that Extract is just a better card than Hedge Fund in some op decks if you build the deck in a certain way. It's not great in the earliest of early games, but allows you to do things like get rid of your envelopments. Mind you, we're only on 1. At some point, the Sandstones are pretty bad. There's a lot of things that you can do, like get value out of Regolith and make it a 1-coster. That Extract is actually like a hell of a powerful card, so that has to do this.
Yeah, for sure. I like Extract. I also haven't been putting 3-ofs in my op decks just because like it's not always guaranteed to get something worthwhile trashable in the early game.
Yeah,
I'd rather see a hedge fund. I'd rather see Rashid or whatever econ card.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's good, but like in terms of burst economy in the deck, we don't have that much, so keep that in mind. Firstly, how's it going? Cali testing, let's go, Kalani. Yeah, this is the next card we want to talk about. Also, Orbs, how's it going? This is calibration testing, and this is another 3 influence fast advanced piece. And there's a lot that Ob could be running, right? We're running 2 Biotic Laborers, we're running this on top of the 2 Audacities, and we have 1 more fast advanced piece. And this is installed only in a remote server, and as a fast ability, you can trash this to place an advancement on a card in this server, 2 trash cost. And the idea with this sort of card is that at instant speed, if you say the runner runs last click into a border control, you can crack the border control to which you trash a 4-coster to get a calibration testing on the table. Now you have a 3-coster, and that's really cute. Then if this gets trashed, right, you can go get a 2-coster from your deck. I'm not sure if there's anything amazing on tempo you want to get besides maybe an Oberth Protocol if you're doing something like really, really cool. But I think one of the big things about this card is that it is a very similar to slot to something else you can play, which is Chiriboga.
Mhm.
I think Bass Boga is very interesting too. It has a higher
Also
trash
3
cost,
influence.
also 3 influence,
Mhm.
also 3 res cost. So it comes in at the exact same timings that the other one does here, that the calibration testing does. The only difference is that this is an asset, not an upgrade. I don't honestly know if I'm missing anything in this deck where Bass is not probably in some way strictly better than calibration testing. And the cool thing about
Ca
Bass too is like Bass's ability is just relevant on other board states, right? Like
Mhm.
there's sometimes where you will tempo a
Purge,
Bass in a
yeah.
remote server to purge or to get Bass and then have 4 clicks to empty your regolith. Like there's actually a lot of flexibility you have with Bass, and again, higher trash cost. So I'm not sure if I'm missing anything, but the difference between these two cards is subtle, but Bass just looks better on a lot of fronts.
Yeah, seeing maybe the reason Bass wasn't here is because, like, people still shiver a bit when they see the hat in the Bass art. They're like, "I don't wanna go back to that bad place."
Yeah.
I like calibration testing, though, because is a fast trigger potentially on the runner's turn. And, like, yeah, that like, you're playing
Yeah.
op, you probably have a few of those, but you don't have a lot.
No, that's
And,
very true. As long
that
as there's a card in the server, it works from a virus where you can crack it on the runner's turn. I don't think there's a lot of reason to do that. I don't think there's any two coster this deck has that like does anything mid
that
run.
yeah, exactly. Like, in another deck, it might work. In, like, if you're running pings, calibration testing to get an advancement and give them a tag
Yeah.
or something like that on their turn could be fun.
Yeah, pings,
You know,
half run, of course. Like, there's a lot of
half run, yeah.
pulling out if you had something like a defensive upgrade, like a what's it called, a Managram Skunkworks. There's a lot of reasons why you'd want to be able to get a 3 cost trashed at instant speed. Again, there's reasons
Yeah.
why there's ob decks that run 3 virus. Uh,
And there's the other important thing is it is an upgrade, which means you can go in the same server as Yakov. I mean, so can Bass, but, like, you can put a lot of stuff in that one server. Just get maximum Yakov
yeah,
money.
I just don't know if it matters. Like, it's not like we want to get calibration testing. It's not like we would get Bass and another asset in the same server. Like, to me, it doesn't make so much sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. So again, it's a very easy swap, and we'll see if one feels better than the other. Just catch up on chat. Out of curiosity, could you activate Trash Akali, install and res Oberth with ob ability, put advancements onto the card for the extra advance? Sort of.
I
So
believe that's what they're describing.
so this is the last fast advance piece, and this is the Oberth protocol. And we played this last week. It's a card that's classically been exclusively relegated to Wayland Jemison Astronautics, the deck that wants you inherently to forfeit agendas, so it gets a lot of more value out of this card. And I've almost never seen this card outside of Jemison, just because forfeiting an agenda for this is not a very great ability unless this sticks on the table for many turns, and I don't think this deck can either protect it, let alone pinhole. So the idea with this thing is that ideally we're forfeiting a standoff, so we're getting a resed for no real big additional cost, or we're sacrificing a hostile, I guess. So the idea is that if you have a calibration testing in the server, you could install, say, 5-3 abstractly. You could res the calibration testing, trash it, get an advancement on your STS drone deployment. You could then go find the Oberth protocol. And then it's worth noting with OP, you res it ignoring res costs that are credit costs,
Mhm.
but you still have to forfeit the agenda. So you still have to forfeit a hostile or standoff, and then you can physically advance the card. And this is the first time you advance a card in the route protecting the server, place one more advancement counter. And it's worth noting calibration testing doesn't advance a card, it places an advancement. So calibration testing doesn't eat the Oberth trigger. So then you could do advance once and get 2 counters, and then you could advance again and then advance again. So you can technically, as long as there's a calibration testing on the table, you can translate a hostile takeover into a 5-3. Now there's only one 5-3 in the deck. You could do get a lot of Project Atlas counters, but
Mhm.
this to me seems a bit cuter than, like, it's not the direct path to victory. I think
Mhm.
it's actually pretty convoluted, and I think it's probably going to be a bit clumsier to play than some other options, but it is a really cool 2 coster.
Yeah, I would actually say that the argument for its inclusion is probably if I could speak for Ed, like,
Mhm.
it's a 2 cost fast advance card, and you're already running a 3 cost fast advance card. Like, that that makes sense from a distance, right? Like, this is a fast advance card that turns into a different fast advance card in
Yeah.
op.
So
That's kind of cool.
the one thing though, like,
I wish it had fast.
yeah. Well, we can change that if we wanted to. But like the big thing to me that for me, Oberth is also a tougher sell is like if we're just sacrificing an Atlas or sorry, a hostile to score a 2-pointer or a stronger 2-pointer, that's not really good. Because generally in this
No.
deck, we want to score 3 2-pointers and 1 1-pointer, right? Like ideal
Mhm.
score situation is usually a hostile and then 3 2-pointers. So sacrificing the hostile means that you have to score another hostile. Is that worth getting an Atlas with additional counter if you have to forfeit the hostile and then you take on 2 bad publicity? Maybe. I'm not sure. Bad publicity, mind you, is like this deck is going to get run down by bad publicity in the mid to late game. So we have to close the game up pretty soon. So yeah, it's a tricky card. Don't you only get 4 advancements? 1 from Kali testing, 1 click to install, 1 click for 2 more advancements, and the last click is a single advancement. Kalani, you might be right. Did I mess the math up? So
I think you did. I think you're one click
install,
short.
you get a free
You all
advancement, advance for 2. Yeah, so you can't even get a 5/3. You're totally right. Yeah, you still need the biotic. That's yeah, that doesn't seem very strong. But again, we'll see. This is one of the weird cards that I think in physical play might surprise us a fair bit. But you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you have to audacity at a saying, yeah. So if you have to do audacity or something last click, then you can do it, and it's a pretty difficult line to do. It's worth noting that if you're playing some of the more bespoke combo decks against an ESA meta, it can be kind of tricky where you have to hold certain cards in hand and cards in deck, mind you, even for op, like that can be hard, but it is what it is. And finally we have Yakov, which like I have still today not seen a deck where Yakov feels impressive. It's hard. It always gets cut. There's almost always like I think a second Regolith is better than Yakov, but like what do I know? We'll find out.
I just don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, oh, sorry, but maybe it depends on the deck. I still like Yakov a lot in the decks I've been running him in.
Yeah, okay. Barriers, we're running 3 border control, which of course we are. This is such an important card. If they run last click through this, we get a calibration testing. We didn't mention the 2 Malaperts. Mind you, this is one of the best 1-costers in our deck to get. I think it's the only 1-coster in our deck to get, if I'm not mistaken, which you could always put Ice Walls in there if you really wanted to. But the Malaperts are really important because they allow you to get an instant speed, the Biotic Labor, the Audacity, to ensure that you have that like fast advance train. Do you think of 2x Malapert and no other ones? Hey, Kyle, right on time. Also, thank you for supporting on Patreon. Yeah, this is I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think Ice Wall is like the best thing for op to pull in the mid to late game because it's not an ice that really scales well. And there's not that many other 1-costers that jump to mind that I think are really, really compelling. So it's one of the nicer 1-costs to get because it generally like does give you more value. You only pull it when and if you need it. And 4 is a lot to trash. So maybe we'll see. We'll see. We're on 3 Sandstone. This to me is really weird. I don't know if this is the most taxing ice. It's the sort of thing that also falls out the mid to late game. Mind you, if we purge, it does go back up to strength. But 1 Envelopment, I think Envelopement's really nice right now. I think it's still good. I think we can probably play more of these. It is a bit expensive. I don't think I'd play all 3, but I think 2 Envelopments is probably fine. And then this is where you extract this or anything else to it.
Well, yeah, I think the Sandstone is interesting because you're running the Maverus and it's like it's an easy extract. You're not going to feel bad for extracting it.
Yeah.
But I've never really liked Sandstone. I'd rather put Maskarovka.
Oof.
Okay.
I think Maskarovka...
You are being so nice to me today. You're being so tolerant of my bad opinions.
So it's really important, mind you, in the deck to be running a 3-cost barrier that ends around a 3-cost code gate that ends around, because naturally, if they challenge a border control, that's what you get based off of board state. So it's really nice to have something that comes in at 6 strength or 5 strength on the turn, because that's really hard for the runner to deal with. They have to get through a border control server and then still run back for 5 credits. The difference that Maskarovka is a 2 credit and it's rezzed, so like they don't ever face check into it, is a world of difference. So I'm not a big fan of Maskarovka, specifically with ops ability, right? Like you're just showing the subroutine, so it's never going to fire. Okay, code gates, 2 Afshar. That's a lot of Afshars, but Afshar is good. We're on a single Hordem, which like I don't even know if we need a 4. I guess maybe you need a 4-cost code gate if they go through the development, so you can pull it, but like you pull it at a weird spot that doesn't really matter. So I don't know about this. Mouseless is just really taxing. Our deck doesn't make good value out of the subroutines, but not a lot of Wayland decks do to get value from this. I think the one card that's not in this list that I'm just liking more and more the more I see is Anvil for some reason.
Of course, yeah.
This thing is
Anvil's
good.
My favorites.
It's great. You put this on central servers. I think like there's a lot of ESA decks right now that are installing, you know, like Ghost Tongue. They're installing Marrow turn 1 or turn 2 and start face checking. Like this is just nice. And this gives us the sort of flexibility in which if the runner ever runs last click, we can go ahead and like, you know, trash a 4-cost card to go get our calibration testing. Like it is another angle in which we can do like unfair, weird stuff that Op wants to do. So I like Anvil more than I think I do. They break it for the same amount that they break Hordem, not that it ends the run. And it's actually kind of fun too on a remote server, because if you ever put this on a remote server, which nobody does, and I don't think you should, if the runner ever runs through this and there's an agenda in it, you can just trash the agenda in a panic. Like it's...
And I absolutely have.
It's the nuclear option, which is like kind of fun.
Yep.
Then the Sentry slot, and mind you, Sentries in Wayland kind of are really ugly right now. I think Stavka is just a good enough ice. Its flexibility to let you trash your own cards is important in op. Otherwise, it's like whatever, but like it can blow out Amakuas. It has some good reach. Archer, on the other hand, for me, is a bit of an expensive res in this deck. If we're already expecting to do Oberth, if we're already forfeiting a hostile takeover, I'm not sure how good Archer is modernly in the meta. It's really expensive to break. There's no way around it. Nobody breaks this really relatively well, but I don't know. We'll find out. Trashing programs doesn't seem that important. It's more so that this is something we can kind of get some stuff behind.
Yeah, and I think 3 agenda forfeiting cards is too many.
Yeah, it's a
If
lot.
you're not running you've only got the 4 cheap agendas, but
Mhm.
3 of them are still worth points. Like, yes, I am the kind of person who would absolutely just like forfeit of global food for an archer for the satisfaction of knocking out two programs. But like, yeah, I don't think this is the deck that you put this much agenda forfeiting stuff in. Much as I like archer.
Yeah. And like if you want to trash programs, I think Stavka's probably just better in faction or like in this deck specifically that you don't have to forfeit an agenda. You could also consider for what it's worth Ballista. You don't also see a lot of Ballista. It's
Mm,
like massively weak to like Botulus and like it's not good into Banhar. For what it's worth, 4 Subroutines is nice. But yeah, it's a very expensive cost to res Archer, especially on a fast events deck that wants to score out with 4 agendas. Adding
mhm.
another agenda to that seems really difficult. So we'll see how that
And you
goes.
know the best thing about ballista, you can extract it into a board control.
Yeah, yeah, 5 cost. Let's go. But yeah, that's
Hey, here's Zero.
that's the list. Yo, Phil, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? Also, Zareth. Hey, been a while. How's it running? So far,
Oh yeah.
it's been good. We're just about to dive into the decks of the week. Mind you, OS Intelligence is in chat, so I'm excited to hear Ed's what he saw or because he said he's done a lot of iteration on this deck. But mind you, this took first place at the Melbourne CO. It was I think 2 weekends ago, and I'm excited to play this. I do think from a distance too, it doesn't seem like it has a lot of money. So if we play against like a very controlling 419, if we get diversioned once, we're probably in a pretty ugly spot unless we can like really fast events really quickly. So we'll see how that goes.
Mhm.
Archer also makes me really sad when it gets trashed or derez somehow. Like that's a
Oh
lot to
yeah.
pay for nothing. Yeah, like I don't know. If someone ends up hippoing this, I feel like it's bad for both sides in some way. Like that's still really expensive. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like I guess there is some Devil Charm Almakua going around and Devil Charm Chisel maybe
Oh
trashes
yeah.
this, but
That's mean.
I don't think
I'm
Archer's been
looking
trashed in a
forward
long
to my
time.
first time reprising an archer. I'm gonna enjoy that when it
Oh
happens.
man, yeah. I want to play more Reprise. I don't think it's like there's certain decks that I think can actually play Reprise and it doesn't feel terrible. And like you just
I
absolutely blow
yeah.
people out.
I mentioned on channel like I got my dream reprise turn in a game that I ended up losing. Right.
What is your prize?
This was me versus Diogene. Diogene had like a bunch of cards in face down in archives and like a couple face down assets on the table, and I stole I stole a hostile from the top of the deck, and then I reprised one of the naked face down assets, and my free
Oh, it was
run
a
was on
spin dog,
archives.
right? Yeah.
It was and it was like it was like my I could see the code behind and like I understand everything now. That has to be a spin doctor. And then I zipped over to archives, got so basically it became a 5 point turn. I still lost the game because he got me in like this really solid fork of damn if I do, damn if I don't.
Yo, but
But I'm glad I got to do that.
that's the thing is like there's certain decks in certain games where I don't think you play to win, you play to reprise. And like
Yep.
it's good that there's a card that lets you do that, which is great.
I'm an important part of the ecosystem because I went to that tournament just wanting to reprise. I have a different victory condition than everyone else.
I think we played
Freedom.
Meeting Adjourned playing Freedom, I think either last week or 2 weeks ago. I think we even played 2 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
Freedom is like it trashes audacities really easily. We don't have too
mhm.
many other trashables. We're not very good at making centrals taxing. That's where like a mouseless just goes far enough. I will have fun despite you. Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
he's probably talking directly to me. I assume. Uh,
All right. Uh, I don't think we want this hand. Like, well, in theory, this hand
mm,
is like border control into Rashida, and then we put mouseless on HQ. It's only really weak to like if they get an turn 1 Yusuf, maybe, but I don't know. It's like pretty. I think we can keep it and maybe try to rush up at the end. We're deep in losses perfect for a tournament. Okay, for CO. I think we can maybe keep this. I don't know what a better hand looks like. We have 2 pieces of ice.
yeah,
Okay.
I do like the border control Rashida. Another thing I was thinking about with this with regard to this deck is like the biotic labors in another deck are kind of like a bulletproof fast advance tool, but you've already got audacity,
Yeah, but
so maybe
Audacity, you
like
can't
that's
play it
another
all
reason
hands, right?
you can't play it all hands, but
There's a
you
lot
can
of
play it a
hands you
lot.
can't play Audacity.
And if you have enough other fast advance tools, like yeah, I just think turn the biotics into Bass's
I think
aces,
I would change the Cali into maybe you can play 2 Bass, but I think you keep 1 Biotic. It's just very, very flexible.
Mm.
912 decks, yeah, I know. And I'm running out of slots on NetRunnerDB. I have to actually start posting lists, publishing lists so I can get more likes and stuff. Hey, John, finally making the jump from start to standard. And we'll go to my first
Oh,
GNK late
cool.
June. Thanks for the built last video. Yo, that's huge. I'm actually super
Mm.
stoked. that is helping. Again, I want to make more content like that that's like meant to be approachable stuff into standard. I know there's a lot of people getting ready, and mind you, standard is going to be, I don't think it's going to be different at the end of June because I think rotation will be a bit slower than that. But that's fantastic, John. If you have any questions, firstly, let us know how your G&K goes. But if you have any questions, and stay tuned to the channel, we'll be posting more stuff like that. I've no doubt. Okay, I want to kind of above the law this. We can do above the law
Yeah,
ice.
that's a solid above the law. I like that.
I'm gonna put mouseless on the remote server. It's like we could have it end the run after. I think sandstone's also fine too because it beats a single modulus.
Sure. Yeah, sandstone. Are we gonna protect R&D at all?
No,
Well, yeah, there's no time right now,
nah, whatever.
but all right.
Like, what are they gonna do? Run it? That's fine.
It's too bad we can't forfeit their agendas.
One day.
Hey, Floof.
Hey, Floofy, how's it going? All right, we got the Kali. We couldn't trash that. They went back. We'll get rid of our Puemo. That actually denies Keiko value too, which is great. We are gonna have to ice up R&D. We'll just put a mouseless there and then go from there. I much prefer the smaller pool of startup, but in standard allows for more weird decks, and I do like weird. That's the thing, is like at some point you will get tired of what standard can offer you. Like there's only so much, and like there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. It still is a lot. Oh, they got another paladin immediately. I'm just gonna jam there. We can always use this at instant speed to put a token on it, but then if we get the regolith, we can't put it on server 1. Like that's the ugly thing about calibration testing. We'd have to go like and get a. This is
Yakov.
maybe a bit too aggressive.
Yakov.
Yeah, maybe Yakov.
Can
you post an ABR for West Coast Nats yet? I can procrastinate a little longer. Oh, East Coast. Yeah, Solomir. I need to get that done. I don't have the exact date yet. I went a week ago to the store to like get that sorted out. And unfortunately, the store was closed unexpectedly that week because of some health things. So I will go early next week, and by the stream, hopefully next Thursday, we'll have a date. So if anyone's planning to make it, you'll have a date. It looks to be at the end of August. So I think you'll have a fair bit of time to schedule things, but I want to get that done as soon as possible just because of, you know, a lot of people, we want that. So we're getting the Yakov, right?
Hey, running parallel. Yeah, we're getting Yakov.
So we have no money. How bad could this be?
Well, if they run Yakov and destroy him, then we've got 2 more credits than we did before. That's the beauty of Yakov.
Yeah, we'll use this to pull a hostile, and then we basically win in 2 turns, right? Because we biotic out the Aziev. What the heck? I've never seen that out of action. That's 4 influence. That's 8 influence.
Huh.
Our mouses is looking a bit worse now. Biotic labor, they have no virus counters. So we're just going to go ahead and close the game out in 2 turns. So we're going to use this. We're going to pull the, what's it called? The hostile takeover. Server doesn't matter. We have exactly enough credits. So we have 7. So if this doesn't get contested, we just score the Aziev next turn. That's it.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's 8 influence. That's so wild. In a deck that like maybe they're playing SMC, but like this deck can't consistently find these things. So unfortunately, if we res the mouseless here, they break for 4. I think we just have to leave it open. Like they're not going to trash the biotic, but like we can't res this. It's a liability now. We just have to get the Afshar on there. Like if they don't steal this, we win. Turns out Anarch can spend influence on whatever the heck they want. I think that's actually largely true, is that they can.
Yeah, that's very fair.
So this seemed like an APOC turn, but I don't think they're going to APOC these 2 breakers, so we just let this through. We need exactly 7 credits to get out of here.
What a power move that would be, though.
Yeah. Can't forfeit an idea if you already leaked the press. All right. They have to hit it here. Hedge fund. Again, their ability hasn't been relevant. They don't run. Okay, they have a 1 in 5 here. Okay. Nice. That's it. That feels bad.
Yeah, that's a bit rough.
Credit perfect, though. Well, then. We'll trash the Yakov so he does something.
Yay!
A good game. Yeah, there was 1 in there. Xern said there ain't no getting tired of startup. It rotates briskly. I think the problem, like, I like startup. I think startup is a fantastic format. It's a really good place to get into the game. But I think one of the issues with startup right now is like if you want to build a shaper deck, because the card pool's so small, you generally start building the same shaper deck like over enough period of time. And that's great. I think for someone getting to the game, that's phenomenal. But if you want to start like going out and building, you know, a wider range of strategies, you need a bigger card pool, and that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say in response to some of the chat, like I was playing more startup than anything else for a while before Worlds because I enjoyed the new deck building challenge of it, and I think that I think that's what I enjoy. It's like, oh, this is a new pool of cards that I have to like figure out. But then when it got to standard at Worlds, I'm like, oh, I'm loving standard. This is like more potential to personalize, more potential to like express yourself
Yeah.
via deck building a little bit. And I saw some really fun stuff, some really wild stuff.
All right, let's do that again. All right, so the deck didn't do anything. Like it didn't literally do a single trick, but we only resed like 2 cards. So like again, Wayland Fast Events can just do that. The Atlas token is worth pursuing by all means, so you'll see it there for sure. If only Standard had a Shaper deck. I think Standard definitely has a Shaper deck. Standard doesn't have a competitive tier 1 Shaper deck, which for a lot of people, they don't play competitive Netrunner. Like, that's fine. You can play casual Kinja Table Netrunner. You can play local meetup Netrunner. And like, there are Shaper decks there. It's unclear whether there's a tier 1 top tables, very robust Shaper deck. Maybe there is, but I'd be surprised, as most people would be. Ooh, Los.
No, I haven't seen Wilson forever.
Pretty sure Jeff was playing against a Los deck last night, and I forget exactly what it was doing. Los is classically one of my favorite IDs. It's not a very robust identity. The problem is like there are certain metas where it just didn't focus on ice. I feel like its ability will probably get enough money. We might probably see forged activations. I don't know if we're going to see the birds that derez. I don't know if we're going to see Rubicon switch, but you generally see derez to ensure that Los can get their value.
What is the what is the Crim's APOC equivalent that dereses 3 pieces of ice?
Exploit.
Exploit?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. All right. That game's over. Yeah, turn 7. 6 minutes. That's all you need. Okay, so problem against Criminal is that we can get diversion of funds. If we just do install advanced events, the hostile, that's a pretty ugly spot to be. So I think we just want to install the Afshar and then we want a hedge fund.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very solid start.
That leaves us with 1 click left. So I think it's either credit or we draw. I think we draw. I don't want to get the stop cut down because there's very likely they'll play forged activation orders and then like we're forced to res this and it doesn't do anything until it does something. So I think we'll just draw once. All right, HQ and then next turn we'll hostile. So they'll probably try and force us to res this. It does just cancel out, you know, Los's ability. And unfortunately, I think here we probably have to res. Fenris? Perena? Perena, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
These archers look like
is
huge liability
extra
for us.
Xanadu.
So we have to res this for 4 credits. They gain nothing because we take the money back, but they'll get the bravado. I think we're probably still fine doing that. The run here is only a 1 in 5, but it denies them a credit. So yeah, we'll res it. So Reina, mind you, first time a turn, it costs an extra credit. So I don't know if we're going to see like net analytics, whatever that stuff is. All right, well, I don't want to score out 2 of these because giving bad publicity to Criminal is like, they do want to run every turn, and this doesn't really help us score. Next turn, we can consider the hostile, and I don't know if they'll want to rip up their board. Admittedly, neither do we, but then we can res an archer and not feel awful about it. It only costs us 5 credits, they gain 2. I think Backlund Botch, okay, this is getting cool. I think Backlund Botchkin is a card that, like, arguably you could consider playing. I always want to put it in decks, and I never do.
Backlund Botchkin is the one that dereses and you take a tag?
Yeah. And you can derez like before they can re-res, before they can break, right? Like you can derez on encounter. I think that's genuinely all right. Okay, there's no way. That's the problem with standoff is like.
You don't think standoff is tempting right now?
It is, but like drawing a card last click is so bad. Like they're not going to trash any of their stuff. Of course they're not. Sorry, the text on this is so small. You got to zoom in a lot. So like we draw last click. That's bad. So we have a Stavka here. I don't think we want the Stavka. I think this will be good enough. We're going to have to get something on both central servers relatively soon. I think actually maybe the worst card here was the Malapert. Hold on. I'm going to do that. Just going to do that. Because I think we like actually having the Stavka in front of the Afshar because the Ches are going to come. They're going to run really cheaply.
This guy's living the dream right now.
Yeah, I know. Man, there's some really greedy low stacks out there that can be quite scary. Like maybe Ches was enough to get their birds down. There you go.
Oh, okay. Got the birds.
So this is sick because they actually can't derez Afshar because the condition on the birds is that after you have to break all the subroutines on a code gate or barrier, and you can't break all the subroutines on Afshar.
The pets for the project. Nice.
All right. So then it's on Paula's Cafe. Oh, Pat, we're going to talk about the new cycle, but Paula's Cafe is looking like it's going to get a lot better very soon. But yeah, these will come in at instant speed if and when necessary. So bless your soul.
Have fun. I'm good. I need to get a Stream Deck for my place
Let's
so I
take
can
a
have a
mute.
cough button. Yeah, that'll be my birthday present to me, maybe.
Okay, so Sacred can
Thank
de-res barriers. Now, I don't know if they'll have the money to do it in a remote server. I'm worried that we're going to see things like that 3-cost thing that says make a run and then de-res ice ever res that turn. I forget what that one's called. Do you know what I mean?
it's not en passant
No,
or
no,
run
no,
amok?
no. It has like a wave mashing through a city. I don't know what the
I can't
click
remember.
is here. I think we just take a credit. Maybe someone will know, but it says make a run, leave no trace. Is that it, Frank?
Really?
That sounds like
Yeah,
all the other
both of us
no
are
free lunch
going to
cards. I think that might be it. Yeah, make a run. When the run ends, de-res all ice that was res during this
okay, yeah.
run. It costs 2, not 3. Mind you, it's 3 influence. I think this card is like, it's comparable to en passant. Not en passant, sorry, the
Mhm,
tread lightly. But I think it's like pretty good.
mhm.
Jailbreak, mind you, R&D we left open. We could have mouseless R&D. I think we probably should have. Again, there's a lot of agendas still in there. I don't know why we clicked for credit. We probably wanted to do that, but I was considering, I think we need to double ice this. Chesla Trash the Spin Doctor, that's a really good hit.
Hmm.
And an Oberth. So they actually pay to trash Oberth with standoff. Yeah, that makes sense. Second class act, mind you, they need to play unique connections. So now the
Mhm.
first time they install something off of this on their turn, it costs 3 fewer, and they can use the Chesva credits. If we don't go blisteringly fast, this will be an issue for us. And giving a deck like this, like giving Paul's Cafe bad publicity, I don't love it. So here we think I put this in the remote server to beta run. We put this on R&D. I think they have 5 credits to like bad pub D-res. I think this mouse is going to be returned to hand. I think we're in a really bad spot.
But I think we have to just try taxing them, right?
I don't think we do when they have 5 credits from Chesva
Mm.
and bad pub.
Yeah, but what sucks is the standoff is now officially useless because
No,
we
Archer.
should you would res an archer. I feel like the situations where they can immediately de-res the archer are multiple.
Well, they don't. We only res it if
They don't have
yeah, they
the
only have
symphony.
the
Yeah.
Barry and Codegate one.
Right.
Glad to rewatch my bad spite match. Manzer's Trees. Did we just play you? Do you ever run Leave No Trace over Inside Job? Probably not. But in like, would you ever play Birds over non-Birds? That's like the same answer, right? Yeah, there's Bachlan. Shit, that's a really really hard one. We have to go
Got a
really
bird on it.
fast. Okay, so this is not
That's
last
okay. We've got
click.
2 agendas already. We must be winning.
So if we res the mouseless here, we cost us 5 credits. They'll be on 5 credits. Like, I think the best thing we can do is just never res cards. They have 8 credits. So this is what the math works like. We res this for 5, they gain 2. So they're on 5
Mhm.
credits. That means that they can install here the Codegate Breaker, the Peregrine. Admittedly, it costs them only 1.
2 or
They have 1, 2, 3, 4
oh, yeah,
connections,
they've
right?
got a lot. They've got a lot. Oh my
So then they do
god.
that. Yeah, I just don't think we
Mhm,
ever res.
mhm.
Hey, Kat, how you doing? You ready for Saturday? Only 3 pals doesn't count itself. Okay, only 3. Oh, Atlas off the
That
top.
okay,
I don't
okay.
think they'll ever run the remote server. I think they just don't have the money to do it.
Hmm.
Okay, so with Malapert, we can go get something. Giving them another bad publicity seems really, really bad. I think you only res if you can
Mhm.
leverage like 3 ice in a turn. Rob, how's it going? Yeah, I think so. Resing a single ice against this deck would be terrible, but if you res 2 code gates or 2 barriers in a row, like they can't rely on the, like if they return the ice to hand, like what do they do? So
Yeah, envelopment is an interesting one to give them the choice of derezzing or bouncing back to hand, right?
it's expensive. Like on the remote server, Saker's math is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 11 credits to derez and development. That's terrible.
Yeah, and if they derez it, it keeps the power counters and then gains more when you res it again. Like
Oh,
it's
I
just an
totally
interesting
forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
kind of idea, right?
Yeah, let's see what happens here. It's an development.
Yeah,
So let's see what
we
happens.
dare
Mind
you.
you, Bachlan Botchkin's really strong against border control. Like you can always derez a border control, and that's kind of
Mm.
messed up. Happy to
Oh
catch
yeah,
you stream
and
for
it does.
once. Yeah, it's been a minute. I was really happy to run into you and play a game earlier last week. It's been a minute. I cut you off, Pat. Sorry.
I can't remember what I was saying. Sorry.
All right, so now we don't res this because again, so now they're just going to use their Chesva credits. Probably install another Chesva. Maybe they'll pull a breaker out. But this seems scary.
Hmm.
The thing is, like, there's a big chance that this deck, even Los isn't the best ID for it.
I mean, they're making a bit of extra money.
Not if we don't
What
res.
would you? Mhm.
So,
But that's what they want anyway. Okay, yeah,
sort
I
of.
see what you mean.
So sorry, they trashed the Cali testing. So we're gonna get 3 off the top, mandatory. Okay, so here we could technically afford to just like Project Atlas out. I don't think we want to. I think we have 2 barriers in a row. I think that's in a pretty good spot. So I think we can do. I don't want to do install advance. They don't know that this is a Malapert, but we need to get this scored, and then we can biotic audacity. So I think that's our game plan here. Is we score 1 in the remote server, ideally with a counter.
I think a counter's good. I like that it's 2 barriers in a row. That's a frustrating proposition for them for sure.
I don't know if we have the money though to do it. Yeah, they probably see this as an Atlas. Like, there's almost nothing else that gets install advanced. Hey, Medi. So let's see if they drop. Again, they have 3 more credits. Bachlan gets once per turn. The first time each run. Oh, once per run. I like this card.
Huh? Yeah. I guess I never realized how frequently you gain those counters.
This is a Kiros. Kiros, the first time you de-res a piece by each turn, gain 2. It's another unique connection, which is great. It all works together. So they can de-res the Afshar. So they actually de-res the Afshar. Oh, no, they can't. They literally are unable to. So here, if we res the Stavka and they can't break it, we win the game. So we have to do the math here. The math is so hard to do. So gotta
They go up to 6.
gotta do like a lot
8.
of math. Can they break
They
it?
go up to 8-ish credits. They go up to 9-ish credits maximum.
Yeah.
Or 12 with the no free lunch.
So Chesva comes in for free. So they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 credits. Mind you, we res it, they're on 13 credits. So they can definitely break this. Because they have 13 credits at worst. They boost twice. Well, this is 2 for 4 strength. That's actually really good. They break it for 6. De-res it for 2 more. The de-res is free with Kiros. No, we just don't res. Yeah, they can definitely break this. Again, they have a free Chesva. They balk on that. I'm actually okay with that, I think. But they can run back.
Yeah.
Just don't steal our Aziaf Sandstone. Nice.
I mean, even then, we're probably getting a.
Oh, they have to clear the tag. I guess they'll no free lunch that. Yeah, there you go. They last click envelopment, which like it doesn't give them Kiros value because this is the first time a turn. But here, like we don't mind so much. Like we're just gonna res the what's it called on HQ. But we have everything we need in our hand to win. We're not gonna res any more ice for the game. Oh, besides this Afshar, which will res for 4. But like this is the only good ice in our deck because mind you, if we had Anvil, we could actually start doing rude stuff.
Well, Anvil is also vulnerable to Bachlan, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's still hard, right?
With them.
So this one we de-res. I think we have to res this.
Yeah, sure. I think this one's fine.
Yeah. Because they have to install their Peregrine, which I don't think is going to be very expensive, but then they break this thing for 3 credits.
And so long as we have like 2, or yeah, we can win with just 1 credit, basically, right?
No, we have to score another 2-pointer.
Oh my God, we're at 3. Sorry, I thought 3
yeah,
agendas.
No, standoff.
Like,
standoff is a confidence bait.
God damn it.
Yeah. I wonder if they have the slots for
Never mind.
diversion. Like, there's a chance that we do just do the hostile from hand. And I think the hostile from hand is like the only like very good on tempo play because then we can
We've
audacity
also not
this hand.
used. We've not used op at all.
No.
Surely there's a way to.
Oh. We could do this on top of the Malapert. I forgot that we should have res the Malapert for something. That's just something we could have done on the Atlas. I just don't know what we would have pulled. Because, like, I think an extract, if anything. So I think we do res this. Nah. I don't think we do. I think we do advance. And then we just score this out. And they know we have the Biotic in hand. So then we'll, like, Biotic this one out. And then, like, we'll pull the last one from our deck. Here, give me just 1 second. Hey, sorry about that. All right, they're running this. Why are they running this? They probably think it's a defensive upgrade, right?
Yeah, that they know there's nothing interesting there. Are they just trying to like wipe out
Yeah, I think they just
Managarm or whatever it
want to
might
see
be?
what this is. Yeah, en passant. Yeah, that's fine. They can en passant this remote all they want.
Mhm.
Why not just hedge? Because I don't know if we're gonna actually play the hedge.
You want
Like,
the hedge just to be a thing that takes up space in the hand?
oh man, that's really funny.
That actually puts us in a very interesting position, doesn't it?
So
It puts us in a
here,
winning position for sure.
I think like that's what we were gonna steal with the Atlas token, right?
Mhm.
So now we don't have to do that.
Yeah, just play it now, and then we can Audacity or Biotic
Yeah, you're right.
3/2
Because even if they steal
from deck.
this, yeah, we're totally fine. Yeah,
Why are you putting in a new remote? That's so scary.
it's fine.
I know they've got no way to do
Yeah,
move
no,
that.
but I know what you mean. Like, might as well ice it up. Make it look like an NGO friend, whatever. Yeah, so now they know they lose because we have a biotic in hand. Even if they what's it called, get us down with a diversion, we only go down to 8 credits.
Mhm.
That's a bit too little too late, unfortunately. We're literally gonna res nothing.
Yeah, come on in.
And like we said this a bit early, and like this is obviously very strange. Like imagine we were a deck that had to score out behind ice. But like the problem with
Mhm.
Los is like Los's ability is only as relevant as ice is relevant. And so if we just don't res anything,
Mhm.
you start to see where it struggles. Now, mind you, obviously, if we're not resing, they're doing the thing they want to do, and that's probably good for them. But yeah, this is totally free because they have 3 bad publicity. They know we have the biotic in hand, so I think putting on the penny shaper on the last turn is like the math that just doesn't line up there because they know we have it.
Yeah, for sure.
That you just have to get as many axes as you
It's just
can.
a
Yeah.
lost click.
So like I think you slam R&D as soon as possible, trash cards, see deeper. But yeah, we had it in hand the whole time. In fact, we had 2 audacities. That's really funny. Let's just do advance audacity, and then we'll have no ice on the table.
Yep, that's how you do it.
Good game. Yeah,
Game.
that is scary. Luckily, ice is a crush, right? Con 2.0. Yeah, this is the sort of idea that Con was meant to do. For what it's worth, I think
Oh.
like D-Res as a thing in the game of Netrunner, mind you, there was a Rubicon switch, is like terrifying. I think it's the sort of thing
Mhm.
where if it is good, it's a really poisonous space for corporations. Like if you can't count on ice doing anything, and so far we haven't seen a meta where that's the case. But mind you, I think this is one of the cards that abstractly could do it.
Mhm. It's interesting, like the ice that Null Signal Games has been putting out isn't good for deresers. Like it's a lot of on-res
That's
effects. You
true.
don't want those. You don't want those to trigger more than once.
Yeah.
Ideally, even less. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. Interesting idea in this case.
Imagine you playing harmonics against this, right? Like every time they have to keep deresing, re-resing your stuff.
Yes, I will keep tutoring ice for my deck. Thank you. I will keep on. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. It's only like 9:45. We still haven't fired up in one meaningful way. Like, is that
But okay, hang on. There is news. There's genuinely news
just
that
one
might be
more, one more. I want to
that
do
that might take a lot of
no,
time.
just one more, just one more. I need
We're
to
just
do an
gonna
op
just do one more?
thing.
Okay.
Like so much of nothing has mattered. It's just like, did you have 2 biotics in your list? Go.
Next month I'll be in person. I'll be able to stop you from doing this.
Yeah. Okay,
What
Kit, this is gonna be cool. Ice matters in this one.
2 archers. Keelikef. Soup time.
It's Gordon time. Heck yeah. Best of luck. Have fun. Shape your jump scare. Yeah, the thing too is like Kit is difficult as well to play Clot because Kit only has 10 influence. So right, just play outfit. Jeff,
Yeah.
you played this one last night too. Like I think you have some. I'm really interested to see what Ed's iterations on this deck is.
Mhm.
But yeah, so far we played 2 games and we haven't fired our ability once. But yeah. Okay, I don't like this hand. 2 archers is terrible.
Yeah, of course, Mulligan.
Okay, cool.
And we're definitely gonna get Afshard start.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
this is a decent.
So Kit says the first time each turn you encounter a code gate, encounter an ice, it gains code gate for the remainder of this run. So the idea is that if you have a barrier on the outside, Kit just plays a decoder, goes through it. So you generally want your code gates on the outside. I feel like Afshar is probably just good enough. Our list has 5
I think it
code
is just
gates.
good enough.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter where the Afshar is. It's gonna do the same thing anywhere. against Kit.
So I don't. I
Uh,
think we can put a spin doctor out. If Kit runs it, Kit runs it. It's totally fine. Because we have a safe HQ. Probably if Kit
mhm,
trashes it, it's fine. We don't have to use it. So this is whatever.
mhm.
And would we score a standoff if Kit installs one good card? Yeah, because we actually could consider standoffing a spin doctor
Hmm.
just to like make things ugly. But like I can't imagine what card is installed that you like trash the standoff on turn 2. It's definitely not that one. This is scary. Like this is usually not a Rashida, so we'll definitely res this. If Kit spends 2 to trash this, oh, we probably just above. Oh no, we don't above law. You can trash that if you want. Cool. Do we just stand off and discard a card? Man, I don't like standoff. Like I don't think this does anything for us. Like I think we draw for ice and then put a Rashida behind it. We're sitting on 15 ice. We've seen 1. So it's about a 1 in 4 to draw ice. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, draw first. It's gonna
Perfect.
be there. We go. Perfect.
I think there's a chance it's above the law, but I think Kit can easily check the sandstone. I'm going to put out the Rashida.
Mhm.
And if Kit goes through a massive 5-strength sandstone, so be it.
Last night I was playing Arkham and felt like a goddamn star because I pulled like a frostbite token and it said no, on the test that I was going to lose.
Yeah.
I'd anticipated losing, and it was gonna like do 3 damage to Norman Withers. They said, "Don't worry, I'm gonna pull a +1. It's fine." And then I pull a token. It is the +1.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, it's like Norman Withers saw the future and told me about it.
+1 is such a wild token because it almost never matters, right? Like
It never matters. Yeah,
it's
the
the same as a
positive numbers are
0.
meaningless. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Like
weird to
like
me.
the it's like drawing the Elder Sign token. Sometimes they're like the Elder Sign token has incredible, interesting effects that rarely actually have an effect.
No,
You draw, it's like, "Oh, I
they've got
wish I'd
better
been
at
in a
that.
different location." Okay, have they? Okay, cool.
I think there's been concerted effort to make the Elder Signs more better on a wider board today. I do think you're right. I
Mhm,
think the original investigators, a lot of them had really, really niche Elder Signs, and that's not great.
mhm.
What do we do with this hand?
Huh.
Patrice's Elder Sign is so good. Oh my, Patrice is amazing. It feels so good when you nail it.
One sec. I
It's
have to double
not
check
luck if you call
Patrice.
it. It lets you shuffle everything back besides 1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was great.
very good.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, go for lots of installs?
Yeah, like Oberth, Cali in a remote server. It's just a matter of time before Soup runs HQ, right? Like Soup knows and get through it.
Mhm,
There's maybe some respect here for hardying news,
mhm,
but I'm not sure. We can also just biotic out something, but like none of these agendas are good to biotic out.
mhm,
Well, besides points, I guess. I think you're right. I'm just gonna install 3 things and call it a day.
mhm.
This might provoke a run. We're holding all the agendas. I'm throwing out the standoff. It's useless. I love Jim's skull. I don't know what it is, Vassilis. It's been such a long time since I played Jim.
Isn't Jim's skull like Jim
Oh, it
turns a
makes it a
skull into a 0
0.
or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Yeah, totally.
But also there are enough interesting cards out there that trigger off of skulls, but not enough. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
There's that song, the one that does damage.
Mhm.
Installs Oberth, discard
Right,
standoff. That's the only way I know.
right.
Yeah, but like we can't spend a turns. Maybe we can. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Mhm.
All right, so they can get through this. It costs 4, and then they could trash both of these. Again, maybe they access the Oberth first and trash that.
Mhm.
And all we need is another card here. Maybe we'll see a Pelongi. I'm pretty sure we will. Okay, they go through. Again, hardying
Yep.
news risk here. Probably
That
discard
too,
Assassinity.
that's just another stroke of good luck. I put this shirt on 90 degrees rotated at first, and I'm like, "No, let me fix this." So now here I am.
It's easier than spinning the bookshelf, let me tell you. So they hit the Cali and then they left the Oberth. Okay, so yeah, now I want this, but like what else are we discarding? Maybe the Dasti, because we have 3 agendas in hand and that's impossible to use.
Mhm.
Armin for
Hmm.
2 influence, I don't know. I feel like nanotech and echelon are
Well,
not worth the difference in
can we
influence.
double check what's in their heap,
This looks like a
if you don't
startup
mind?
deck.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like a startup tick, yeah.
Yeah. All right, server 2. Server 2.
Yep,
Advance. This
and
is
you know what we say to startup players, uh, something, something, Audacity, Oziev, kill. I don't know.
so this is
I was hoping something would inspire me halfway through that sentence, and it didn't happen.
So like the cool thing here is if the stop gets res, we can trash our useless Oberth and then go get what's it called, the one cost of Malapert, which would be nice because we score an Alice with that. But like again, we're just gonna score out. I don't know if our ability is gonna fire once. All right, Alice to the counter. So our game plan here is to biotic out one thing, to score a hostile from the deck, and audacity at the last thing. So we win in 3 turns, uncontested. It's up to them to
Oh
contest.
man.
But they're on a 3-turn clock from this board state with this hand.
Yep, they've got to figure it
out. This is not great. Like they get through this for 3 credits. Admittedly, that's like pretty taxing for Code Gate. Gordian Blade was like, mind you, the best decoder for a long time, barring later support. Oh man, are we gonna trash that thing? Oh, Egret. Okay, so we'll still res here. Maybe we shouldn't, right? Like they get to use the money off overclock, and now they got full information. Yeah, this res doesn't make that much sense. It eats their ability, but that's not very relevant this turn. Yeah, maybe this is not a great res. I love me some Egret.
Yeah, it's I also like Egret. I feel like it could be free. You know,
Yeah, it could be a lot
it
cheaper.
already takes up a memory, which is sometimes at a premium.
Can I not pay that too with overclock? I don't know. Maybe not.
I think it
Spending and losing are
Avatar
different.
specify.
Yeah. And losing are different. Okay, so this is a good res then. But yeah, you can't lose those credits, you can only spend those credits. This takes off a biotic? Yeah, but
yeah.
we'll pull the hostile first, I think. Oh, they hit the buffalo. Okay, so they're off the clock. Yeah, that's what we wanted to score to shut down their Aesops. I just don't know what the Aesops. I think the Aesop's the Egret, so they spend a click for a credit there. Well, worse considering.
Unless we, oh no, we can't fast advance the Ozief right now.
No, we can't. But I thought that was a Malapert. Yeah, let's just go get the hostile. That's actually wrong right now, I think. Yeah, I just don't know what else we do. Like, we probably open with the Spin Doctor. We definitely should have opened with the Spin Doctor. I think this is a bad play, but we can't put the cat back in the box, can we?
I have tried. Cats
Wait,
do
hold
love
on.
boxes. I feel like putting cats back in
That
boxes is
can't
actually
be
very
it.
easy thing to do.
Can we just FA an SDS for Gordo? Yeah, I'm thinking that we actually just pull an agenda and we can store in their remote server. I don't want to score the Azief. Like maybe we Azief the Oberth and get the Malapert. Maybe that's fine. I want to undo turn. You mind? I think we have enough credits to score this out. And like if we res the Stopka to trash the Gordian Blade or the Carmen, we're in a great spot. I believe you have to type the undo turn as well. Cats love boxes though. Put a box down, a cat in it. It's no question. We got our like
That's what I'm saying.
We got. Thanks. So here, yeah, we either pull the SDS, we do install advance. That means we can't res a Stopka, so I don't like it. So I'm going to open with the Spin Doctor remote server. If we get something better. Oh, you see, that's why we don't pull it. We can put this in the remote server, or we can put this. I think we're just going to like force across the table.
Yeah, I like that.
So there's a lot of things that they have to do very quickly. And like we don't have to res the Rashida if we're just going to score this out because we have to discard cards. And the cool thing about the scoring pattern, I'm not sure for Azief, is if you do Azief and you trash a 2-coster, again, we'd have to res the Oberth, which like, yikes. We can go get the Malapert, and I believe the Malapert triggers. Because I think the Malapert is now there when you score this agenda. As much
hang
as
on.
Yeah.
Does it?
I think
does it
so.
work? Okay,
because you first have to pay the cost and then you do the scoring, right?
Yeah, so why would Malapert? Oh, because you're searching something to get Malapert in the server.
Yeah, exactly.
Malapert isn't. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking Malapert's what you trash, but of course that doesn't make sense at all.
We are now financially destitute. Oh wait. Oh, I can't res it. Never mind. How do I close prompt? The
economy is in shambles.
I forgot. I thought we could just res this as a 2-coster, but of course you can't. It's don't look at that. How have I messed this up? Okay, so I think we just score this out. We trash. The Sandstone actually probably doesn't matter. The thing is, like, there's no good 2-coster the deck can get besides the 1 of Regolith, which is, like, good enough.
Yakov Erasure.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. Okay, I'll score this out. We have to trash a card. I think we trash the Egret.
Yeah. Let's trash the Egret, but keep the Sandstone. Come on, do it.
It's so bad. It's so bad, dude. We're not gonna get any value. This
Fine, but
regolith does
fine.
something.
Be who cares about living an interesting life? That if you want to live the life of a normie, okay, that's fine. I think it's okay to be weird. It's okay to to express yourself and play Yakov.
He's just not gonna do anything. Like, we're not gonna trash another card. It's really hard for us to trash card. Can we not score the SDF off the sack? Like there,
Thank you, quiet.
I think there's a chance we could have pushed the SDS. It means we couldn't res the outer ice, and I thought they would have a better
Mhm.
economy play that turn, but they just click for credits. Like a single overclock gets them to the server because we can't res the forecaster anymore. Yaka works on runner trash, yeah, but why would they trash it? She's flown.
Well, because they're
away.
they're ashamed of their own life choices. When they see Yakov, they think, "Wow, this person's more interesting than me.
Oh, I think we
I
could.
have to trash Yakov to bring them down to my level."
I think we could have fast advanced it, but it would have cost us our. Oh, we had no agendas in hand, right? No, it would have cost us the Aziev, right? We would have trashed the
Mhm.
Aziev. Sophie, how's it going? So,
Hey, Sophie.
Sophie, it was like a couple of weeks ago. We had a conversation about mentoring and getting ready for Nats, and then we talked about how you could be a mentor or you could use a mentor, and both are appropriate. But I probably should have offered. Like, do you want to do mentoring? Because I reckon we could just get that done. I felt like a dick after that. Be like, why didn't I even offer? I think that would be a fun project. Okay, so Pantograph, that's something. Turning an Alice and a token into an SDS, a Res Oberth, and no Gordo. I think you're right. I think like ultimately that's the right thing. I just don't think the Gordo is going to break any more ice for the whole game. Like I think the Gordo is done.
Mhm.
We could Rashida. It doesn't do anything.
I mean, we're not that poor because we got the regolith and stuff.
No, we just win next turn. Pardon? So I was basically saying, like, I know that you said you were interested in doing some sort of like mentoring to get up to like standard. And if you want to do some mentoring, we can. Again, maybe I shouldn't ambush on a live cast, but I felt bad not offering when the discussion came up.
Honestly, it's nice seeing it happen to someone else because I usually do it to you. I mean,
Yeah, that's
is
true.
what
That's true. That's true.
yeah.
I'd be down, but no way obligated to offer. No, for sure, for sure. I know there's no obligation, but I thought like, wait, that would probably
Hey,
be
Izzy.
cool. All right, I'll message you after. I reckon I can find you on Discord. Hey Izzy, how's it going? DZ's coming out. It's just a bunch of shaper stuff slowly happening, but the economy just
Mhm.
isn't there. Like I think they're gonna struggle to break a single ice.
I guess it wasn't soup time after all.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
here let's just try and draw into the agenda. We don't need to though, but if we do, we got one. New remote. Cool thing is with Biotic here, I think we actually have the money to we have exactly 10 credits, so we actually could play around Purge.
Mhm.
All right, another game. Ob didn't fire once.
Well,
Try.
remember when you could have gotten Yakov
Yeah, sure.
and you didn't even use the regolith?
Imagine they panto a cloud, that'd be sick. Yeah, but we'd be able to deal with it with Biotic and like we can put them a virus down and res it. That'd be
Mhm.
cool. Thanks for the game. Playing too much Tears of the Kingdom. Yo, it's been a week now. How's it been? We played a bunch. So okay, there's a bit of a spoilers here, but only minorly because I haven't played the game. So Maddie, my partner, started playing it midnight after the stream last week because it just came out. And I'm gonna talk about the starting section. How many of y'all went to the ice spot like immediately after at the starting section and got stuck there for like a while? Because my partner did, and then apparently Pat did too. And I think a lot of
Yep.
people are doing it, right? Yeah, those
It
sweet up value. Tell me about
it
it.
sucks that there's a bad choice in a game that's the sequel to Breath of the Wild.
It's really hard because like you need to know things from the original game to try and tackle it. But even if you
Mhm.
come in with that information, you're unable to tackle it, and the game does not like restrict you from like failing in that way. And maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah. I spent so much time like cooking spicy peppers and stuff, and like it still is not really
No,
doable
it's not.
in any way that's fun or interesting, certainly.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, there is a correct way to go.
yeah, yeah.
That happened to my dad too. He went to the icy spot.
For real?
Oh no, dad's still in the Yukon. That's a shame. Beautiful country up there, but It eats a lot of dads.
Okay, real quick. Stab Tabby, the Demigrid betrayed me. Yoka game. I need it for Aesops. Yeah, I just want to get rid of it because I reckon you'd Aesops it just to get a bit of money there. So get rid of it. That happened to my deck too. Yeah. Hey, Sparkling. Yeah. I've no doubt it's going to happen to a lot of people. Real quick. Ed is saying, what would be the best way to share the updated deck list? So you can share a deck list that is not published as long as you go to your account, and in your account settings, you do you're allowed deck sharing, because then you can just copy paste. So like for me, when I do my videos, I don't publish my decks. So I can just go into the view page and copy the URL. You can post URLs in Twitch chat if I'm not mistaken. So like you can go in here and then you can do view and you can post. I didn't go to the ice area first, but I did still get stuck. Excuse me. Took a few attempts at each approach before I figured out the route that made sense. I almost got stuck leaving the ice area, running out of spicy food. Like, Maddie was in the ice area, and like Link is basically naked for the beginning of the game, and like he's freezing out there.
No pants.
No pants. He's wearing gladiator sandals. That's it. Anyways, I was like, there's no way that's
he's got like a kilt. You get a kilt at first.
Yeah, he has a modesty kilt.
But okay, so you and I talked about this before the stream. My thoughts on it aren't entirely positive, but in the beginning of the game, a few things that really stuck at me, like I'm on that first island, and I'm like, every now and then I get to build a wacky contraption that gets me like, oh well, now I have a minecart powered by wind, or now I have whatever, and I'm thinking to myself, oh well, this is cool, but clearly it's like blocked off sections, so I can't like carry things from one section to the other easily. And then they just give me Pokeballs filled with gadgets, and I'm like, oh, so it's like every time I think like I've seen the limit of what they're going to allow me to do, they say no,
you can do whatever you want
with a flamethrower in it. Yeah, and the other thing is, it takes longer to get to it than Breath of the Wild does, but the moment it like the title screen moment,
yes,
very cool.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, trust me. Do you trust me?
Yeah.
All right, let's go for it. And then
it's that sort of moment like
A.
Fallout exiting the that sort of like yeah, it gets you every time, which is great. Okay, new section. We're gonna start here real quick. Firstly, again, links for all this will be in the description. Jeff put up a meta breakdown video. This is largely a podcast. You have no reason to watch the video itself, so you can just put the audio on and listen to it. This is pretty great. It has 4 players, Rotom, Janktivist, Whiteblade, and Jeff himself talking about what they think about the meta breakdown right now. So we're going into the CO season, and you want to hear what these 4 folks think the meta looks like and why you should just become low-key pilled. It's a great conversation. I'm not sure. It's really funny. I talked to Jeff after, but like Whiteblade was saying like, why doesn't everyone play this deck? And I think a big question of fun, what is fun, came up, and I think Jeff was like trying to skirt around that. He was like, not everyone's optimization machines, but like I don't know, I feel like that was the biggest thing, is like a lot of people don't think it's fun, but it is what it is. So it's a really good conversation. You don't think you did it right? We can try.
Anzuke does love spoiling things. Let me see if I can find Anzuke's Twitter account. I can't remember what socials they've been using
otherwise
these days.
We put up a video earlier this week. This is Hanging Gardens. It's a built to last Trickleite Fast Advance Wayland deck that similarly can score up very quickly. And the idea with this deck is it's meant to be something very approachable to get into the standard format. I want to put out some decks that are like, hey, this is something that has legs in standard. Again, maybe not the most competitive high top tables, but at least for like at least casual play, if not casual to slightly competitive play. And we're playing as few, like we're trying to keep the card pool to something reasonable, and we're trying to give you a very focused game plan. And I think this one delivered. We're going to be doing more like this. If you have any feedback, hit me up. If you're tuning in for Whiteblade, you better be tuning in for hot takes. I don't even know if he had that many hot takes. I don't think there was too many surprises in that one. ABR died and ate my tournament. Solamir, what happened? It was on their non-Twitter social, so I don't get digging too far. Okay, this is the big news, right, Pat?
Arguably, yes.
I don't know what to argue about. Okay.
Again, the Storm DLC for Midnight Suns has been out for a week, and I just feel like we haven't talked about it enough. But we can talk about the Liberation Cycle and the Automata Initiative for now.
Yeah, okay. How about them 5-3s for each faction? Yeah, sort of 5-3s. We'll see how it goes. So this was announced earlier this week, announcing the Liberation Cycle. As the lights of the Aurora recede on the horizon over the pile of Canadian corpses, we leave the frozen north behind and sail towards a new hemisphere. Welcome to Brazil, and welcome to the Liberation Cycle. So This is the next cycle. Again, we had heard that the next cycle coming later this year in a couple months is all going to be set into Brazil. So we have a name.
Mhm.
The first part of the cycle is the first 65 cards released Q3 2023 is the Automata Initiative. That name is really cool. Automata is just a slapper of a word in general.
It's
Understanding
a
what
fun one
this
to
is
use.
about. Yeah, it's a great one. This is weird to me. So it's just for transparency. I'm not part of Null Signal. Pat is. Pat works on the narrative team. So Pat
Hi,
knows
everyone.
a bit more than I do. Now, of
I'm
course,
actually gonna mute myself for the next half hour, but go on.
so like I'm
I
not,
have to be safe. I have to be careful.
yeah,
They're watching.
we're not here to bait out anything, but Pat probably, well, Pat definitely knows more than I do.
I
Um,
have every card in my other monitor right now.
great,
I'm
great, great,
looking
great.
at it. Yeah.
So this, I just want to say, these are my opinions. Q3 2023, that is a window. Originally, we heard end of June. Technically, July is third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. So it could be July all the way up to September, I think, if I did that right. This is a really interesting window because so many people have big events that are in-person events this summer. So having physical cards for the new set for these folks is a huge priority for a lot of people. So like this gets me a bit tense. We're going to be running our nationals ideally here. We're going to get a date, I hope, solidly locked down as of next week, but end of August. So I'm hoping for us that's pretty good. But of course, it takes time to get the stuff printed and sent out. I know from Americans who can order directly from Null Signal, that time is a bit shorter than Canadians who have to order in a more slow way. So getting, again, you don't need cards in person, but I'd love to go nationals and play with the new set in person. So we'll see if we get that.
I just want to say something really quick. Chat is performing a kind of psychological warfare on me
Mhm.
right now, and they're trying to like cold read me through the internet tubes. So I'm just going to reply to Isangrid and say yes, and moving on to the rest of the article.
Don't make me Midnight Suns tangent in the middle of this news, but I will. I won't. I will. Okay.
Isangrid, we can talk about this after the stream
Anyways,
or next week.
there's a chance that this will be very soon in Q3, and this is just like, a pretty generous term because it could be coming out at any point. But yeah, anyways, that part gets me a bit nervous based on timing, but we'll be fine. Anyways, that's cool. Some story here. Brazil has long been a haven for androids of all kinds, with human rights extended to both clones and biroids within its borders. Neither can be owned or sold, and all are emancipated and crossing the border into Brazil. This is really cool narrative stuff. The like whole like Android inherently is about, the war between clones and biroids. War is not exactly the right term at all, but the sort of tensions and the sort of like
Tension is a good
yeah,
word.
exactly. So having this zone in which all people are emancipated, that's really fascinating. Instigated by the Order of Soul, and that is a name that, mind you, has come up in Netrunner before. I'm not sure. I have to check the lore book if Null Signal, or sorry, FFG has talked about the Order of Soul, specifically what it is. But this is part of the religious aspects, and there's a whole bunch of cards in Netrunner that have religious themes on them, but not a lot of these cards have seen a lot of play, so it's not something that's really well explored. So like Order of Soul is meant to be some sort of religious movement. They have several attempts to create a world church uniting all human faiths into a single harmonious whole. The other one that comes up a fair bit is Citadel, Citadel Sanctuary. And then what is the Starlight? What's the other
It's
Starlight
Starlight
card?
Crusade funding something. Yeah.
Which is such a cool idea. This theme of this card is so cool. Someone comes to you. This person looks like I always forget the name of these. What are religious people who are sent to things called?
Zealot,
Missionary,
emissary.
yes. A missionary showing up with a suitcase that gives you bonuses, but at huge downsides. It's just such a cool card, but not well explored. I'm really excited to see it more here. Instigated by the Order of Soul, grown strong in both social and political power, the laws that enshrine the rights of androids have been accepted and sat unchallenged for decades until now. A new law, project, or bill has just been introduced into both houses of the Brazilian parliament that would strip biroids of those very rights and protections, the titular Automata Initiative. This law project would enshrine the status of biroids as robots without soul or sentience. That's a wild word. And return all residing within Brazil to live lives of servitude. Despite all expectations, to the contrary, there's growing support within the Brazilian government for the bill, bringing with it suspicion of corruption, corporate meddling, and growing social unrest. With the storm rising overhead, the status quo of the wealthy South American nation is being challenged by this very act, raising again the perennial question: what makes a person a person? What corporate machinations could be behind this? How will Jinteki and Haspirate respond? Which voices among the Brazilian people will rise up to answer these growing threats? These sort of narrative angles talking about like the emancipation of biroids and the corporate, interests behind those are things that are, they were in a large way discussed in the Mumbet cycle, but I don't know if a lot of ground was broken, right?
Not necessarily. Like it was definitely part of the background, and I like some of the imagery they used in the Mobat
Yeah,
cycle.
like clones are
People
not
covering the back of their necks
people.
and stuff.
And
Yeah,
what's the other one? The opposite of this one?
freedom,
Freedom
freedom.
through equality.
Yes. Mhm.
So for those who don't know, HB, this is a short summary of it. HB makes biroids, Jinteki makes clones. These are meant to be things
Mhm.
that are competing for the same market in terms of like utilitarian use, sold for doing stuff. So it's in both of their interests that they are kind of pushing for the emancipation of their other product, right? If biroids become people, they probably can't be sold, and HB has a lot of money to lose on the line. So this whole narrative is like explored in a couple cards through the Moment cycle, but I'd argue it probably didn't go as hard as it could have because it's obviously a fascinating
Yes,
story.
I certainly like the idea of like HB helping free clones
Yeah.
because that helps their bottom line. It hurts their competitors. It's a great idea. I was about to say fun idea, and I'm like, no, it's not a fun idea, Patrick.
Yeah, it's some crazy lore. Gondarge, how's it going? It's some really good lore to explore in like, sci-fi stuff. So it's fantastic. Are
Matthew,
clones
you're
dude
wrong.
slash J?
Yeah, are clones dudes?
For the set symbol, we selected the silhouette of the sabia. I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll look into that bird, also known as the rufous-bellied thrush. It is the national bird of Brazil and has strong associations with hope and the spirit of the Brazilian people. Their song is often thought of as the song of the common people. Sabia birds have been featured in numerous poems and songs, notably Conchao de Exilio, Song of Exile by Brazilian poet Antonio Gonçalves Dias, which references the thrush's song as a symbol of the homeland's beauty. Uh, Sick set symbol. I don't know if you know, I always
Great set.
put the set symbol in my videos in the bottom right corner. So at least from a distance, you can tell what it is, but I don't know if that actually matters, but I'm glad to be putting a bird on stuff for a long time coming. Hey, Keith, HB makes androids, Jinteki makes clones, Waylon makes money, and makes tags. Yeah, Waylon makes fast events, apparently. How's it going? Okay, given the themes which inform the cycle, such as the fight of freedom, the mobilization of working people, and the hope of a new life for clones and biroids, it seemed a perfect fit. The symbol was designed by a member of our visual team, artist and graphic designer David Prieto. Where does this go? Oh, Twitter
ArtStation,
or
I guess,
Instagram.
or
Cool. Super cool. I like that symbol a lot. All right. When it comes to gameplay, the Liberation Cycle includes a new mechanic, which can be found on both Corp and Runner cards. That's right, everyone's getting sabotaged this time. A new concept for card design which enables power levels to scale as the game goes on and creates wild haymaker plays at crucial points of the match. You know how we've been talking on this channel about rebalancing hard-hitting news for such a long time? This is literally how it's going to happen, right?
This is literally, yeah, exactly. You don't want hard-hitting news to be as powerful on turn 1 as it is on turn 7, right? Like,
Yes.
that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, that is something that's
And
come
I
up, and we've always talked about how do we rebalance hard-hitting news, which, mind you, rotates alongside this, and the idea is to make designs which enable power levels to scale as the game goes on. The cards like hard-hitting news should not be relevant on turn 1, and I'm excited to see whatever this is. The fact that this is Corp and Runner cards is also really cool. That was like, a Netrunner thing too, is like it's hard to build powerful cards like something like indexing when they are powerful on turn 1. Like, what about if you reprinted indexing, but you may look at the top X cards and that's scaled based off of agenda scored, points its point area, like things like that.
or if it, like
Yeah,
if there's a way to, like, track turn count or something, like, things
exactly.
like that, I totally agree.
Yes. So
Or yeah,
I'm
or an
stoked with that.
indexing that was more powerful the more ice has been installed.
Yeah.
Something that actually is tracking game state.
So anything like that, you can print more powerful cards that, again, we don't want games that get blown out on turn 1. You want games that get decided on turn 10, turn 12 elegantly, right? And that's awesome.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot more designs for that from Del Signal Games, things that are actually like closers of games.
Yeah. It also like, I've often talked about how Netrunner has certain categories of cards that everyone has to know about. Like, you have to know a card like hard-hitting news exists. You have to know a card like snare exists. And this is like, oh, I know it's turn 1. I know my opponent doesn't have access to the haymaker yet.
Yeah,
Or like, oh, it's
exactly.
turn 5. Now I have to be where the haymaker is active and stuff like that. Obviously, and I can't speak to like any specifics about the mechanic. I've seen it and I think it's really cool and has amazing potential. And I can't wait for people to see it.
Super stoked. They're also going on to say here that like this concept has gone so well that they think it's going to be an evergreen part of the game. And like, yeah, fantastic.
It totally could be.
This game was, again, you can have your opinion on it, whether you like keywording the way that we saw in the last set, where there's now terms that can show up in the future, sabotage, mark, maybe they'll show up in the future, who knows? But if this is just something that becomes inherently part of the game, that's really good and really flexible for design, which is fantastic. It's just currents that increase in power each turn, isn't it? Current goes up. It's good. All up to the Russian language was so ready to use my high school Spanish skills to pronounce some cards. Yeah, but then it's gonna be in Portuguese. You're gonna do it slightly wrong, and then everyone's gonna get more upset. Or I don't know. It's I have no idea how to say anything in Portuguese or Spanish, so we're gonna figure that out as well. Should be scaling off cards and
Netrunner
squares.
es un
Probably.
juego. Yeah, never mind. I'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I'm worried about this. Like, if it does scale up on like
De dos
agendas and score area.
jugadores atraco.
Are you doing Esperanto again?
No, I'm trying to say my Netrunner spiel in Spanish.
I
Netrunner es un juego de dos jugadores, something, something, something. I can't remember exactly.
if this scales up based on only like agendas and score area, I'm so scared for negative agenda points, man. I think there needs to be way less support for negative agenda point stuff, but okay. Additionally, the cycle will feature a lot of new connections so you can build your revolutionary crew. Yeah, we saw this earlier today, but finally you can build a Shaper decks with Paula's Cafe that makes any sense. Paula's Cafe is really ugly, just because I think literally the only faction that can do it well is Criminal, and then they're spending 4 influence on this, and then it's a weird deck. But at least you have Coffee and faction to make the thing make more sense. Next, a cycle sysops that all share an ability. This is a really cool thing. So sysops, there are certain cards in the game that are sysops, and sysops inherently are just, the name is not used as like a mechanical name. It's just used as a flavorful name.
Yeah, there's nothing in common with them except that they're people.
Yeah.
And which means Smith and Wesson can kill them, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So we sort of saw this at certain points. So let me just search advanced cards here. But like for a while we saw executives, and executives were, again, these came out across different cycles, but executives largely interacted in the same way, that they had powerful abilities, but most of the executives, oh, that's actually not true at all. These were the unique executives. Oh, I guess they're all unique. Excuse me. But for a while we had these executives that were the heads of their different factions. So the head of Jinteki, head of HB, that all had powerful abilities, but when they were trashed, they became points for the runner. I think Sysop can have something consistent like that. What is the one Sysop I'm thinking of that can move herself?
Georgia?
Yeah, Emeliov, exactly.
It was a Georgia Ivanov?
Emeliov. So this is an ability that I've been fascinated with, and I think like it'd be easy to bake something like this into sysops to give them like a base power value. Like cards like this are not very powerful. In fact, the only time that Georgia saw any competitive play was probably a bad time for the game. But the idea is that like if sysops have some sort of blanket ability that like maybe you can move them around, maybe they always do something, and then how different factions get more value out of that. I'm so into this. I think this ability is like kind of really neat. So I'm so excited to see sysops with I think they're generally pretty fun and powerful cards because they're interesting and characters are a fun place to explore in this game, but I'm so into this. That's great.
Yeah, but giving them something that is like like all grids, all regions have a region ability.
Yeah.
And I think it's just cool if like more of these upgrades have consistent abilities. You kind of expect something. Excuse me.
Oh, Solomir says 99% all sysops are upgrades while execs and characters are assets. I think you might be right. That's actually really cool. I didn't realize that.
I hadn't realized that. Cool. To Izzy, I can't speak Esperanto now. I did study it for a while. I think Esperanto is extremely cool. I can read what you said. And to Keith, so this cycle I didn't have a lot of input on the world building, mostly by my own choice because I just didn't have like the time or the energy from my old job, which was kind of draining to me. And then like by the time the world building was basically wrapping up, like I was getting into this new job that's also like demanding a lot of my creative and mental energy.
So what are you working on? Because I know you're being modest, but what sort of stuff have you? I don't know if you're allowed to like. Don't talk about the stuff, but like, in what way are you excited to people see what you've done?
I mean, I helped a little bit with the theming of some of the factions. I think like Wayland a little bit, but even then, not as much as our people would have because I didn't have I as much input there. But what I'm looking forward to is we're getting into the cycle of like talking about the stories we're going to be publishing, pitching those,
Cool.
finalizing flavor text, which I'm looking forward. Like last time, I wrote a lot of the flavor text. I'm looking forward to doing that again, and maybe getting a little bit of like extra little narrative snippets in there, like I did for Parhelion. I was really happy, like with my epilogue of Shoeflower's story that I got to write. So yeah, things like that is probably what I'm going to be writing a lot of. Just like the narrative mortar in between the bricks that Anzuke is putting down.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Talk about the stuff again. This will be like ongoing for a while. I don't think they say when like specific spoiler season starts, but Q3, we're in Q2. It should be happening relatively soon, I reckon. Okay, next up, a Shaper run that vents the target's HQ. I can only think of one modernly, and that's Escher, and Escher is just a slapper of a card, just because it's weird. But that's it's just a weird thing to call out. I don't know. Are people excited about Shapers running HQ? I'm like, they just played DJ Fenris. They already run HQ.
I do think it's not the most interesting among the bullet points.
Yeah, that's the weakest bullet point.
But yeah, especially because like some of the other stuff in that cycle is like just wild. I would love to I would love to be abstractly teasing stuff, but
Yeah,
I
that's cool.
I have sorry, is there a red dot on my forehead? It's showing up on the camera, but I don't.
All right, there's a new 3-point agenda sort of for every corp faction. This sort of scares me. I don't love
Yeah.
3-point agendas. Now, this is agenda, so it looks like every faction might only be getting a set, if not maybe even just one of per decks, because it's not 3-point
Mm,
agendas. That's weird to me. And
mm,
sort of is really cool. I'm imagining that we're going to see a design that is probably like, I think what was really cool the last set was we saw all those like unconventional agendas, the ones that like scale
mhm,
off of agenda difficulty. And I imagine we might
yeah.
actually see the opposite where it scales off of points.
Mm,
I'm excited to see what that works, but like this is clearly not just a 5-3. There's something more to it. So yeah,
mm,
exactly. Maybe similar to market research. So maybe we'll see something like that, which is like this is something that you could argue is a 3-point agenda, but functionally isn't a 3-point agenda. And for me,
mhm,
that deals with the problem that I have largely where agenda suites, like 3-point agendas, the impact they have on access to scoring is a bit ugly, but you can still score it in 3 agendas with these. We'll see. Just show me the 3-pointers. Slink back to the shadows. We have 3 new weapons. I think like the weapon subtype has like we've seen weapons before, and now they've actually been given the weapon subtype. So far, none of the weapons have too much in common in terms of mechanics. I think when I design criminal cards like the set I'm working on, there's obviously weapons in them because of course they would be. That's sick.
mhm.
A subtype combination that has only appeared on one other card. Somebody went on our Netrunner and posted
Someone
every
must have done this,
single.
right?
No, they did. They went and posted every single
I
combination that
haven't
has
seen it.
only appeared on one other card. And then like
Was it in the
Anzuke's
announcement
response.
post?
No, someone made their own response. And then Anzuke's response was, it's one of these, which is made me
Thank you,
laugh.
Enzuke. Yeah,
But
Enzuke does love a good tease.
yeah, Ludovicana, I think is the name here, did this all unique. And it's like, it's a huge
Mhm,
list. It's a huge list. It's one of these, and I can assure you that all but one of these is not it, or at least not one it refers to. I cannot confirm that there will be one such
hmm.
card. And oh wow, okay, that's a bit more nuanced than that.
Yeah, I'm really glad they took my advice to bring back the Grail oh shit! Someone's knocking on my door.
Yeah, the Grail mechanics are listed here. I'm like, I don't know if that
Mhm.
they're probably not going to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't think we're gonna see. I mean, I literally should not be even joking. I don't think I should even be joking. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's some fun ones here. I forgot that like Nova is a digital slash natural.
Oh,
That's
cool.
another fun.
Yeah, that's
I
really
think like
cool.
part of the thinking is going forward, like have a bit more narrative fun with the subtypes while also trying to make them make more sense mechanically,
Yeah.
like in a consistent way. Like yeah, like the sysops, you get a cycle of sysops that have a similar ability, and that's really cool. But also like yeah, doing digital slash natural is just kind of fun. It's just our
Yes.
way of having fun with the character.
And like they do have, again, we've seen subtypes of IDs start to matter. So like maybe we'll see more
Mhm.
support like that. Again, I do think we also saw some brand new IDs or some brand new subtypes even in the latest set. So again,
Yeah,
more cards
isn't
that
the
interact with that
Vincian
is cool.
academic or something?
First
I think we
academic,
gave
yeah. Yeah. Hey Johnny, we're required to reveal an asset and an upgrade in the same server to score the extra points. Yeah, there could be a lot of things you can do that like somehow make
Mhm,
this worth 3 points if you can follow, XYZ condition. There's a lot of interesting stuff
mhm,
there. So this is the first Biroid Corp card outside of HB. So that's very interesting because they say Corp card because we've seen non-HB Biroids.
mhm.
Adam is a Biroid. That's really cool. And then the first card with both the clone and Biroid subtypes. I don't know what the heck that means because like that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm convinced that this might be a runner card. Like there's a chance that's an identity. I think that would like that seems like such an important thing potentially in the narrative of this whole
Mm,
cycle that I'd be surprised to see that be anything else besides a runner. Um
mhm.
Maybe if it's like somebody who shows up as part of corporations political agendas that are like a spokesperson or something like that, but like that to me seems like a runner. So we'll see. Clone of Adam. Could be a
We
whaler card.
finally did it.
Muscling it on both sides. Yeah, like maybe a corpse have some like hand in that, but like that just seems like such an important person to like focus on in like the part of the lore. So we'll
Mm,
see. Hey, Cold Lava, maybe it's like Nova where it's part of people in the clone of person as well as a Biroid of the same person's brain image. Yeah, like the natural digital thing, right? Yeah, that also is one way of dealing with it, which is really cool. That's so weird. Yeah, like maybe Biroid is body, clone is mind, or who knows.
mm, mm,
Okay. Picturing
mm.
Adam runs into Caprice, soft music playing. Production for the cycle is continuing under the new process we described in our last production article. We settled. So the production articles, if you click through them, are like they go through and they show their like can't diagrams or whatever they're called. We've settled into a sustainable pattern of cycling between develop, peer review, and handoff for each stage of card production. Okay, some teething problems with the new production methodology have prompted us to push the project release back slightly to Q3. And mind you, the previous estimations were like literally the last day of Q2. So like there's a chance that's not a big push, but again, who knows if these cards will be in person. Unfortunately, we'll find out. We have found our footing and thus allowed to proceed forward with confidence. Our set split has been completed. This is like always such an interesting thing. And I want to hear more from Null Signal how they do set splits, because it seems like the whole set is designed as a chunk of 120 or 130 cards. I forget what the number is. And then does it get split before or after? And then the question is always like, is it get split for narrative reasons? Does it get split for balance reasons? Does it get split as a way to like impact the meta? We've seen in FFG that some splits will be like for narrative reasons. We've seen some splits where they're just bad, where it's just like the meta was good if all 120 cards came out together, but unfortunately the way that they release things, they released the poison before they released the cure. And like set splits are actually really important. She had her bad eye on my rig.
It is really. I think they do it pretty much. I mean, I don't think I'm revealing anything secret, because I have seen some Null Signal people talk about this, or it's just common knowledge now that they are designed as a chunk and then it splits. But development can continue on the stuff that's not released until it's released. So like it's not like they're going to say, oh, well, this is set in stone, even though we're 6 months out from releasing it.
I think I heard that too. It's like the first part of the, what's it called? I always get this wrong. The Borealis cycle. Set 2 was iterated all the way up to release. So like they had everything together and then they made changes because they see responses and they see how set 1 lands. So like, of course, there's going to be changes. But otherwise they are concept locked. So there's a strong idea what's going to be going on. Okay. Production article, more details in coming weeks. This is huge. No surprises here. Upon its release, the Automata Initiative will immediately become legal in Startup, Standard, and Eternal. There'll be a 2-week grace period before it becomes legal for competitive tiered organized play. That is going to be the biggest thing for major tournaments. Not also only do you have the cards physically, but like if it doesn't release 2 weeks before Nationals, I don't know if you're allowed to have Nationals in the new meta, which I think is going to be a huge deal for some people. So getting a date on the books, on the calendar, is going to be super important for a lot of people. The Automata Initiative will also trigger a rotation for Standard. No surprises here. Flashpoint Cycle and Date and Destiny will no longer be standard leaguer, but Startup is fine. So Startup will just get a strictly bigger card pool, which I think for a lot of Startup players, that's not a problem. And hopefully that will spice up the Startup meta, which is, it's a Startup meta.
Man, losing Flashpoint Cycle, like Data and Destiny, I absolutely love.
Yep.
Flashpoint Cycle, have thoughts on. Like Flashpoint Cycle is kind of what it made me drop out of the game for like 9 months or so. I was just so depressed by some of the like absurd cards that got printed in that cycle. And then the Mars cycle did not help.
Yeah, Mars cycle for me, I think, was the most upsetting part, but that was because quality control was really, really rough. But we went through on stream, I think a week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about like what in rotation matters, and like Date and Destiny is only matters because you lose the mini factions, and that just like
of course,
physically sucks. But Flashpoint Cycle, it emotionally sucks. Flashpoint Cycle is the most important in terms of the standard meta, because it has some of the key parts of the game. It has like the Anarch Breaker suite entirely. It has Boom and Hard Hitting News. It has some of the biggest Jinteki ice for those sort of decks. It's Global Food Initiative is in Data and Destiny. That one's important too. APOC goes, but that's more Data and Destiny. It's a really, really important one. Mumbet was the worst cycle. Mumbet is where this game started to trend down. Flashpoint really put the nail into that. Like it was the end of that kind of thing. And then Red Sand was weird.
Now, too, I don't know the answer to that, but god damn it, I'm going to keep trying.
To do what?
Nothing.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, this is a family show. I forgot.
I'm very curious what Startup will look like if NSG starts to fill in some of the holes from Flashpoint. Startup? Flashpoint. Wait, what's Flashpoint?
The
Flashpoint cycle.
Will Startup now get some Flashpoint-esque cards? Like, I don't think... Sorry, I'm just going to name a card I don't think is like... Is it, but like, will NSG print a paperclip replacement in this cycle? And now Startup players have a paperclip kind of thing.
What the heck is Flashpoint? That's the name of the cycle?
Is it not the name of the cycle? What do you think it is?
I genuinely don't know. But like, I heard that name for the first time ever in my life just a second ago. It's called the Flashpoint cycle. Yeah, it just started sounding like it stopped sounding like a word to me. Yeah, that's correct.
Something just happened to you?
Yeah, something definitely happened there. I'm
I'm gonna
fine.
text Maddie, just get her to like wheel you out of the room.
Flashpoint equals Mars. No,
Nanako
Red
takes over
Sands
stream.
is Mars.
Red
Flashpoint
Sands is
is
Mars. Katara.
Flashpoint is 23 seconds. Flashpoint is the collapse. Yeah, okay, it's called Flashpoint. Okay, that makes sense. Uh we're excited by the artists we commissioned for the set. We'll see a lot of familiar names and styles. That's sick. And we'll see some new ones.
Mhm,
Specifically, we're working with a number of Brazilian artists to ensure the liberation cycle
mhm.
comes to life in a way that feels authentic and exciting. Did Null Signal
That's
work
super
with a
cool.
bunch of Slavic artists and artists from the north for...
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
they're a few that. I think that's a really cool initiative, and, I think, like, when I think of Brazil, I there's so much beautiful scenery,
Hmm.
like, landscape and, like and built environments that I think are gonna be so beautiful to evoke in card art, especially in,
Yeah.
like, Netrunner's, like, colorful cyberpunk future. There's so much potential for favelas and the Amazon and things like that. There's gonna be a lot of potential.
John says no AI art. Null Signal hasn't been using AI art yet now in like 2-3 years. It's been a while.
Right.
That's how they
Yeah,
started out.
yeah, they started out using, like, AI art and AI supported art, but they don't use that anymore
Yeah,
for
that was
sure.
before AI art. It was more like, Deep Dream AI
Mhm.
modified art. But yeah, no, they do all
Yeah.
this stuff by contacting artists like Balance Sheet. This art's sick. This is a club of some sort.
Mhm.
There's been some lasers, which is great.
I don't think it's a club,
Oh
but
my
that's all I'm gonna
god,
say.
you're right. It's not. It's a riot.
Mhm.
So these are people in the street. I thought it was the color of a club. I didn't. And I thought people were dancing, but they got arms raised and someone has a bat. But I think these are. It's like a drone strike. This is targeting because they're shining on the back of people. So something's getting snuck up on. I don't know what this is, but that's great colors. It's really good colors. I like this a lot. Balance sheet sick. There has never been consensus about HHN. Oh, so the question was like the idea is that there's something that replaces HHN, the hard hitting news, and that'll be in the Flashpoint cycle. That technically means there will be hard hitting news in startup. And yeah, there will be.
Yeah, an NSG version of it. I'm not saying that I'm not sure if HHN is in or a version of it, but,
Oh
Null
yeah,
Signal has remixed cards
I'd be
for their own purposes, and I think it would be interesting to see what startup looks like if they had a friends in high places.
yeah. For what it's worth too, it's like Null Signal has been reprinting a lot of the sort of ideas that we expect in standard that show up in startup. Like I think startup corps do have some of the ruder options. So yeah. The green lasers are often used to try to burn out cameras. Yeah, but I think they're coming, not going. Like I don't think this person's hand is shining laser. I think this person's being shown on. But yeah, you generally use those to like knock out helicopters or like disrupt
Mhm.
sensors and stuff like that. That's for sure. I think NSG said they don't plan on working with using AI art for the foreseeable future. Oh, I didn't know that. That's neat too. But I'd be
Yeah,
surprised if they did.
I can't remember if there was, like, an official statement, but certainly, like, in like, the conversation I've seen is like, yeah, we want to keep paying artists because that's we get amazing results and build a better community that way.
Mhm. And again, a lot of these artists have been working on Netrunner for a long time, so they have an understanding of what the world looks like and continue looking like wanted to
I
continue to
heard
look
about
like.
an audiobook publishing company that's already, like, laid off their entire
Yeah,
staff of voiceover artists because they can just do something good enough.
yeah, it's that catches up to
People have
you.
just gotten used to, like, the TikTok, YouTube short robot voices, for describing things, like, why not just do that with books? Getting very sad.
Never
Trying not to be sad on stream.
Netrunner is difficult to find online. My Kingdom for in broad daylight, high res
Mhm,
housekeeping. I've generally looked into because I use art for thumbnails and stuff like that, and I would recommend trying to search the artist and see if they have stuff up on their website, their page. It's easier to find something like that,
yeah.
but a lot of folks have
Maybe you
their
can reach out
galleries.
to the
That too,
artists
yeah,
themselves if maybe they'd be open to sharing
yeah.
a version of it.
Serevna is so good. One of the best arts recently. Serevna is like it's really good, and then you see it
Mhm,
on the Nationals playmat, so it's blown up, so you actually see the
mhm.
detail in it, and it gets even better. I think this
That's one I
just
wrote the brief for.
nice. Yeah, I don't
It's
think
one of the it's one of only, like, 2 I wrote the brief for, but I'm happy with how it came out,
yeah,
for
it's great.
sure,
This is really good balance sheet
especially
stuff.
on the big playmat.
Yeah, on the playmat it looks really, really good. Like even better.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Serenum map looks great. My favorite part of the Netrunner hype cycle is knowing I'll get to play with all of the cards. Yeah. If you get lucky though, you'll pull one of the like alternate art versions. It's worth a lot of money on the market. All right, I think that's the end of the news. I shouldn't have closed that because I need to link that. That's it. Pat, you want to build a deck?
Yeah, I guess.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
They recommend checking ArtStation, FFG, and MTG artists are there too. Yeah, Gorfax, totally.
Mhm,
You can see almost all the major artists you'd expect. They all have their stuff up there. And then you also get to see like some of the cool stuff where they do art. Like I didn't know like some of these artists did art for other games I've seen and played, right? It's
mhm.
like I didn't know Liga, not Liga, excuse me. Oh man. What is that famous artist who does like those faces, done a lot of stuff for Lord of the Rings?
Magali
Yeah,
Villeneuve.
Magali Villeneuve has done like a bunch of like Arkham stuff that I
Mhm.
didn't expect, like handcuffs as a Magali Villeneuve, which is like,
Why would you have Magali Villeneuve do
I don't know.
handcuffs?
It's like, why? Why are you doing that?
Eh, she should do faces all the time. Faces
Yeah,
everywhere.
Magali's
She's got
so good.
yeah,
And then if I'm not
and
mistaken,
she's now doing,
Magali
art well,
Villeneuve
she
has
yeah.
handcuffs. I'm like, I don't understand how
Then
this
again,
person got to
I
do
mean,
this. This is good.
obviously, any artist knows hands are hard.
Oh
So I guess,
yes.
like, maybe they kept going through the list, like, MS Doyle was like, Sorry, I can't do it." Like, I
No.
don't know what to tell you, FFG.
Hey Dajin, how's
Hands.
it going? Liga's cool. She came to Worlds once.
Mm,
Yeah, Liga has done some cool stuff too. I think Liga is from, oh man, it's either Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, but I know that she was actually involved in the meta there and like did some art projects
mm,
and like playmats. There's a really good interview where Liga shows up on one of the NSG
mhm.
stuff to talk about the art that Liga did for Gateway. It's really cool to see.
Latvia.
Latvia, excuse me,
There
thank you.
Yeah, Liga has a lot of interesting, yeah, Liga and El Signal are still very much involved, and there's some really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah. Awesome. There's a bunch of artists too that I wish Null Signal worked with. Like going through art and seeing some of the old FFG art, and be like, oh, this person did a lot. I wonder if again Null Signal reaches out to a lot of the artists that worked before.
Mhm.
Liga's art for MTG looks fantastic too. Yeah, Liga is doing stuff for MTG, which is really quite nice. Latvia, excuse me. I'm excited to see some cycles that I can't afford the cards for to rotate. No joke, super not like that's a really big deal, but like you can proxy. And I know that's not the perfect solution, but never feel like you can't participate in this game because you don't want to buy a
Mhm.
set for $600 on eBay. Like just print them out.
Mhm. Wentagon, I agree. Like, I love Steel Sin Scarring art. I think that artist has only worked for Netrunner once, but
Yeah.
I hope we see, them a bit more, because it is an interesting, like, heavily inked borders, kind of style.
I'm pretty sure I heard someone from NSG talking about the specific art saying that they wanted to work with this person because they did something that was slightly out of like the normal theme or the normal like
Mhm.
what you'd expect on Netrunner. And I think yeah, it's a very striking card.
Yep.
The video where they look into the uni art with Liga was awesome. Yeah, you know the one. It's really really good
Mhm.
to see like Liga's early iterations and then like to see the feedback process. It's so cool. There's like so much cool stuff that happens in production that like people don't see. They just see the final product and like you don't see the narrative behind it, which is often as interesting as the final product, if not more.
Mhm.
Liga snare, best snare. How's it going, prof? Okay, so we want to play basically some good stuff mark decks to see what they look like right now. I think 419 as a criminal competitively is pretty reasonable. Seems to be doing good. Whether you want to play the Nexus or not, that's kind of up to you. But the idea is like, how good is just generic a mark deck? Now, when you put
Mhm.
together a Sable deck, I think it's pretty easy to put in some amount of deep dives, and I don't love it, man. Are you a deep dive
Yeah,
fan?
yeah, it's called a day. I mean, I am a deep dive fan. I wish it wasn't so much better in Crim, in Sable, than it is
Yeah.
in Shaper.
But like, I don't even know. Like,
Um, mm,
I have no doubt we've seen it. I think in startup, triple deep dive Sable is just like a force to be reckoned with. I think in
yep.
standard, it's a bit harder because there's more ways the corporation can attack you. If like credit differentials don't work out, you have more things like border control. Like, I guess if you see it coming from centrals, but yeah,
Yeah, and you need to spread your influence out a bit more, or to just compete in a lot of ways.
yeah, yeah. Kat says the last time I did an art for Netrunner cycle, I did a how it's made stream. I think that was really cool, Kat. Seeing your art, also the process was really fantastic because also the way that you
Yeah,
do art, I'm not very familiar with, like a lot of the 3D render stuff. I think it was the one that you managed to stream at 8K somehow, right? I remember that one very, very distinctly. That was
my router melted.
yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Um, so I would be definitely interested for more of that. So
Yearly, Diogene.
I think we're gonna just try and keep it as simple as possible. Maybe we'll play
Mm,
a deep dive. The problem with deep dive is 5 influence and like I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, and, it's a very good card in Sable. Okay, so obviously we start with 3 reprise, and then we kind of build off of that.
Let's just put the basic stuff in there. The stuff that we can like unarguably. The big thing we have to understand with Sable is that we're going to get a mark randomly every turn, and some
Mm,
turns it's going to be worse than others. So we can make sure that it works. It needs to work in our favor. Solomir wants to play APOC has been in the deep dive. So at Worlds at Crown of Servers, I played APOC Sable, and then at the last minute I changed to 419, and I thought that was the best change we could possibly do because the problem is when you play Sable, they ice up everything really well.
Mhm.
Like they ice up their central servers relatively well, so it's so much harder to APOC. Mind you, if you do, you probably get more value. That I thought like just swapping to 419, they have less credits, and generally one of the servers is a bit easier to run than the other one. So I think that was the right play. Like I don't even know if you want to APOC in that. The cat who did deep dive, yeah, that's Kisra. Kisra's in chat. Also,
I tried
the
making
system
it as
gateway.
sabotage stable, but I didn't have much. Yeah, that's the thing about like sabotage is I like the idea of sabotage quite a bit. It works better when you can put the maximum amount of sabotage in a
Yeah,
deck,
yeah.
and other factions don't have enough access to it.
It scales
I
off of how much you can put, so it's really hard to
Yeah,
do a
I
bit
wish
of
I wish there was
sabotage.
more cheap influence sabotage cards that could fit or work in other factions. Also, I feel like sabotage is one of those cards that could also be a corp mechanic. Like I want to see corp cards that say as additional cost sabotage 3.
I don't know. Oh, I see
Yeah.
what you mean. I thought you meant like sabotage the runner. Yeah, sure, why not? Who
Mhm.
cares? That's
Like
fine.
like like that's totally like a modern Jinteki mechanic,
Yeah.
right?
I think Carpe Diem is worth 2 slots. I'm like on the fence with Carpe Diem. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up playing a bit more event run support. Like maybe we can go play Anacom in this list. Maybe we can play
Mm,
prepaid. Probably we don't play
mhm.
Anacom.
I kinda like that.
But
Uh,
Carpe Diem is like it's fine. If it's just 3 credits and maybe a run, I don't even know if that's good enough for a slot.
Swift.
I don't like Swift. Swift is like, so that's a big thing about Sable, right? It's like Sable is not consistent. Like Mark and
Mhm,
Harley is not consistent. So like it very much favors you to play cards that are more consistent. The idea is like, why not play Penny Shaver Paragon, where if you have a bad archives mark, you're getting some value from running it clicklessly, right? Like that's a really big deal. And I think with Swift is,
mhm,
yeah, you get a couple more clicks, but like we already get enough clicks in the deck. And I don't know if we play enough run
mhm.
events. I think Carpe is better than Laundry and the Sable. If you have to check remote servers, I'm not entirely sure, but it's easier to play. That's for sure. Yeah, maybe.
It's a little bit easier to play.
Let's try that and see if we feel better than worse than one or the other. Again, we can always add like
Yeah,
some amount and then change it. I'll
I mean,
just keep that for now.
you've named several consoles that are not Sable's console. Are you that much against Virtuoso?
Yeah, so okay. This is what I've felt from Virtuoso.
Mhm,
Virtuoso is one of the good equalizers that makes all marks of relatively same value, right?
mhm,
So when your turn begins, identify your mark. The first time each turn you make a successful run on your mark, if the server's HQ, get an additional card. That's not great. It's not the worst, but it's not great. And when you breach HQ, otherwise breach HQ when the run ends. That is pretty nutty text. To be able to
mhm,
like get a free run on HQ by running RD or running archives is buck wild. It also triggers
mhm,
Amakua twice. There's a lot of things to it. Now, this card is expensive and it takes your other slot. What I found in a lot of the Sable play that I've played, like when you're setting up with like, double or triple Ches with Sable, whatever you're doing, running everything all
mhm,
the time, you're already getting so many runs off central servers that there's a big
mhm.
chance that the cards that you're seeing with Virtuoso are already cards you've seen before, right? Like if you're running R&D every turn cheaply, if you're running HQ every other turn cheaply because your mark is there, the additional accesses you get from Virtuoso, I feel like are not incredibly valuable. Again, there's some value with Amakua, and I think there's almost no reason not to be playing free Amakua right now. I think it's so good, especially in
And correct me if I'm but Virtuoso does the free breach
yep, it's 2 breaches.
combos with certain cards that let you get extra accesses off of breaches rather than successful runs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
Mhm,
you do in theory can get 2 Amakua counters, which like, yeah, that's fine. That's whatever. But this card is really expensive and it comes in at the slot, which ideally for our deck becomes a massive economy card with Penny Shaver or just massive value from Paragon. So I always feel that
mhm.
we can get better accesses and better values by playing a different console and just never play the 4 cost Virtuoso. So
Yeah.
that's hard.
Greensleeves, in Carpe Diem's defense, you can just play it for money. You don't have to make the run.
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, I get what you mean that laundry is unrestricted, but in the sense, Carpe Diem is also unrestricted, but in a different direction.
Yeah, it's like it's there's I agree. Like Dirty Laundry is so good for checking remotes. Like there's a lot of value from this, but you have to make a successful run. Carpe Diem, you don't. You can just play it to gain 3 credits, which is like a pretty bad floor, but whatever. Bankroll to
Yeah, I feel
capitalize.
like
Yeah.
mhm.
Sorry.
We're only at 13 events. I feel like we could easily get to 16 events if we just put in 3
We
reprise.
definitely don't play 3. Maybe we can play 1, but even then, I don't know.
Come on, man!
Okay.
It's Leela in a can.
Yeah, it's worse than that. Fixed breakers, Gabe, but
Better
unsable.
than Leela.
I think there's one of the biggest breaker suites you can play right now that is really disgusting is you can play Amakua and then summon Mana Leech. And the idea again is you
Mhm.
run archives, you get 2 counters, and then you're a really, really good spot.
Yep.
You still need backup breakers because again, you'll run into things like IP block, you'll run into things that you can't deal with. That's really difficult. But if you run backup breakers, this is one of the best things that snowballs out of control. Now the question is
Mhm.
the Leech slot, does it take up the Chesva slot and is one better than the other? And we'll find out. We'll see.
Mhm.
On GK, Hams played Reprise on Soccer Res Hydro. It's fun to hear the anguish. Reprise is nutty. It's really, really wild when it lands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So big problem with Criminal right now is card draw is awful. So we have to put some slots for card draw. I think there's one hardware that will play for card draw, but let's start here. Boomerang, 2 of, sure. I think you can argue to play more or less of these. I think Inside Job is also worth considering, and I think you can maybe consider Legwork, but we'll find out. If we're on Leech, we got to play the Nuzu. Like Cradle?
What's the Nuzu?
I think it's Cradle.
Leech,
is card draw that bad? In Criminal, I think you need to spend a lot of effort on card draw. Like, I think you'll consider Diesel. Otherwise, you have to play, like, Earthrise and, what's it called? Class Act, yeah. DreamNet? I don't know. I think we play Zenith over DreamNet.
I feel like these days I would put the same amount of influence towards Steelskin rather than Diesel.
I almost think you would, but I think like the speed and the credit you save off the Diesel is important. I think if you're playing into a lot of PE, yeah, that's fine. For what it's worth, though, to some extent, too, if you're playing Criminal, and depends on your breaker suite, like this is a marginal case, but from my experience, is like I tried that, and the credit difference matters in a lot of matchups where you have to go fast. But also, there's sometimes you just take net damage mid-turn and then draw with Steelskin and then lose a breaker. And that sucks. Like, you don't control what you lose, which is something that like you can't really do. Yeah, the art on this is pretty cool. Paragon 2 is also like another pseudo card draw card, which is great. We're running Zenith. I'm honestly at the point where I consider playing 2 Zenith because I think it's such a big difference when you get one early and you get one late. It is such a difference. Nuka is the same influence. Nuka is so much slower though. Like Nuka is considerably slower that I'd rather have Diesel for fast draw and Earthrise for slow draw. And I think Nuka does not find a good spot in those 2 options.
And we are definitely going to put Class Act in.
Yeah, for sure. And Earthrise, most likely. Waken Plant, I've been liking less and less the more I play it. It's weird how that is.
It's too bad.
It's too bad. It's kind of expensive. It's weird how the meat damage can be expensive. We'll definitely play it for sure. What else we got?
I mean, I'm glad that it has turned out the cybernetics feel painful to play. Like
it's
that
hard in Criminal.
If I can speak on the Luto narrative aspect of the cards, now that I'm a professional narrative designer, of course, it's cool. That's all I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm intermediate, so I'm not even past my probation.
Aren't you yet?
Fingers crossed. No, I've got like 3 days, and
be a good boy,
John
man.
can just absolutely crush me.
Nuka's only won one more card than Diesel for being slower in 1 credit. I think that actually does matter, though. I think it can matter. Again, it depends on how slow your deck is anyways. Maybe with Sable they slow down, but it's hard. Panweave to pretend we're in 419. I think Panweave for me has always been my least favorite like cybernetic because it's
just a little bit, it's not impactful quite enough.
Not impactful
and you take
enough.
a deck. It could have caused 0 credits and I would have considered it.
And like you're playing as a criminal. So like corporations inherently are icing HQ to the point where you can't fun run it. Like out of any other faction, if you splash Penwave, it'll be easier to play, right? Like they just see you coming from a mile away. Like that's the problem with Waken Plan is like once you get this down, it's so hard to make a rig that runs HQ cheaply because they put a big piece of ice on HQ. So like, I don't know what you do about it. It's really hard. Is Ghost Tongue busted outside of Crim? Surely he's busted in Crim. So you can ask Pat about it. Because Pat played Ghost Tongue Criminal for a while now.
Not for a while, for like 2 different events. And it's not good. I tried it in like a Ken deck, and it just, it's too much influence, so I couldn't put too many in. If I didn't get early, it's useless. If I got it early, it's like, so having a smaller hand size when I want to have all these tools available to me at all times is frustrating as well.
I watched Pat play because I had to buy, and like I was just trying to count.
Tell you what, I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna go. I don't have to listen to this. I don't have to listen. I'm a narrative designer. I don't have to listen to this.
We were counting the amount of turns where the Ghost Tongue gave you more value than the prepaid voice pad, and I think there's only maybe 1 turn that happens. And yeah, that can be maybe you can just play more events. Like there's ways to play around it, but like I'm pretty sure that if you want to play Ghost Tongue, just play prepaid voice pad first and see how that goes, right?
Yeah. Quiet. This is the stream, frankly. The last couple times I've been on is just kind of what is happening. It's kind of quirky like that.
First time around this place, huh? Okay.
Yeah. First time caller, long time listener. I see you're bullying your co-host, your co-anchor again.
I was not saying that because I think you made a mistake. I was saying it because like I think it's a really interesting. It's a very easy thing to
You feel like a
track.
mistake was made in my
No, no,
vicinity
no, no. I think it's like
at the time that the cards like kind
I'm
of tumbled together into a
I'm
box.
happy you tested it, and I could see
Thank you.
firsthand that it seemed not great. It's fine.
You are
Whatever.
really being so nice. Is it because you know I've been recently very sick and you're like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna do my typical Andre
His
on stream thing.
it's a weak immune system right now. We have to be
Well,
nice.
yeah,
We have to bring him
I'm
up.
so fragile.
It's
I've
like
got the
talking
immune
to
system
a
of like
house plant, right? Like, you have to
exactly.
nurture it.
I've got the immune system of a Dickensian orphan,
So
and I just so fragile, like spun glass, spun sugar.
Tremolo, I don't think is worth it. The big thing about Sable is like we have to hit the ground running to a large extent. Mind you, I put Paperclip in here, and we can argue whether we want to play Paperclip. We could even consider playing Cleaver if we have Leech. There's a chance you don't install things with Amaku, but whatever. But the point being is like we have two Cybernetics, and most games we're installing one of them, so Tremolo is kind of
Mhm.
butt. So we're probably not going to do it. Admittedly, Tremolo does get better with like Leech support, but so do most breakers. So yeah,
Well, one thing I just want to shout out for Tremolo is
yeah,
like I like this one influence.
yeah.
Like
It's
that's the
great.
card that just says, oh yeah, you can run a cybernetic deck in any faction, and like yeah, this is just going to be a go-to thing if you want to go all in on cybernetics. And I
It's
think that's nice. I like that is a way of
it's like this.
balancing that.
This one's always tickled me. The
It's
res cost of
it's also
Byron is lowered by 1 for each unspent click the runner has. It's 1 influence. That's never
thank
going to
you,
matter, though.
thank you, Brain Taping Warehouse. You've done it
Yeah.
again.
This is so cool to me. But I like those
Mhm.
cards that are like, there's a mystery here. And I think Tremolo is easier to solve out of faction than Brain Taping Warehouse. But like, I love it. It's just like this card is
Yeah.
useless without support. So we'll make
Mhm.
the piece itself
The
easy.
I mean, the virus sabotage person is kind of
Augustina?
similar.
No, I think Augustina is
I
like
mean,
2
I
influence.
yeah, I have
Oh,
used
she's 1.
Augustino effectively in a Shaper deck that was running out of viruses. That's not terrible. I feel like Architects of Tomorrow is kind of the reverse of that HP card.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Architects of Tomorrow has less influence, but you're not spending any influence on ice, are you? So you're not really going to feel it. I think I've never felt it while playing that ID.
Maybe this will work with a card in the new set or the Byron clone. Yeah, unfortunately it's rotated, but yeah, there's a small chance, I
That's
reckon.
that is too bad that that the card that anyone can take that cares about Biroids
Yeah, it's
will not
gone.
be around.
It has been around for a while. I think it's Mumbed.
Chrissy, Poison Vial. I agree. Poison is terrible. I prefer Venom.
Christy, how's it going? Poison Vial. Oh, and this came up, mind you, someone posted about it. The 3 new weapons is actually kind of important because Asmund exists. But Poison Vial for our
Mhm.
deck does nothing. It becomes like a weak economy card where you install this.
Boomerang.
No, I know, but like how many times do you boomerang a
Uh,
3 Subroutine Ice and it matters?
Rarely.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't do
Okay,
anything.
yeah, I know. I should have said anything.
No, 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 but that's good to call out.
No, no, I'll take off. I'll just take off.
I'll see you next month. So like you save a small amount of credits on this thing, but like, do you want to have this in your opening hand? No. I think there's a really cool deck that was posted recently. That's like a Poison Vial as that I'm definitely gonna play. It looks great.
Mhm.
Thank goodness they designed Bell Tower specifically to make BTW viable. What's BTW? Oh, Brain Tag
Built
Warehouse.
to last. Oh, Brain Taping Warehouse.
Yeah, I
Not
probably said
built
this
to last.
before, but Brain Tag Warehouse is been the name of my Wi-Fi now for years, and I'm wondering how my
Yeah.
neighbors thinks.
Mhm.
No One Home seems good. I like No One Home. I think if you're getting hard hitting news, this is like one of the best things to put in your deck and just install it and not worry about it. We can play 1 and then we can figure out if the meta hates us or not. We'll play 2 Earthrise daily. I think we play daily cast, but I don't know. We just don't have a lot of burst economy. I think this deck seems like pretty uh middle of the road. 2 Miss Bones is kind
Mhm.
of necessary if you're building a competitive deck. This card's just really
These days,
good,
sure.
so you don't like lose to PE. Otherwise, Daojin said to play Louis Giller, but there are Louis decks. This is definitely not one of them. We don't have enough HQ pressure, economy denial for that to be reasonable, but this card is technically a card. Info Bounty is so sick. I think this could be a 2 of, arguably a 3 of. You obviously don't want a 3 of a unique card, but you need to get this early. I think we have enough
Mhm.
payoffs for running bad marks that we don't need 3 of them.
And I think there is now that we put the effort into it. There's probably enough draw that we're going to see it early enough, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Is Miss
Okay.
Bones rotating? No, Miss Bones will be on for a really long time. She was one of the
Mhm.
last released FFG cards. So that's Rain to Reverie. So that's like 2 more cycles deep. So years. Unless NSG rotates faster. We're not playing any pinholes. You probably should. I like playing the exposed one. We have 10 more influence, Pat. How do we make this deck interesting? Because right now it's just like
Okay.
every criminal deck.
So, I mean, I don't want to just say 2 deep dives, but if we want to be simple, if we want to be straightforward,
Yeah, I know. I feel like Deep Dive really favors more inside jobs, but I think it's getting cheesy.
hmm.
Hippo, honestly, yeah. Like, I think we've seen more criminal decks. Like, you can just spend 10 influence on nonsense. Just straight nonsense. You know, if a criminal hippos you, how messed up it is. Still need deuces. Yeah, we should have deuces.
Yeah, it's pretty insulting when
It's
they do that.
ridiculous. It's so
Mhm.
ridiculous. Misdirection is a really bad card in any deck that can't pull it at instant speed.
Mhm.
Because it's useless and you spend 2 influence
It's
on
not
that.
going to show up when you need it
Yeah,
unless you can
you
pull
don't
it
want
at
to
speed.
pre-install it. Your MU is really tight, and that's why we play no one home. Could do Unity deuces and 1 deep dive. Do people like Unity? Cat's Cradle is bad. Let's be real.
Yeah,
Cat's Cradle is bad. Unity is like technically better. I don't think we have the money to spend what's it called? On the big one. What's the big one?
Amina.
I mean,
Mhm.
Cat's Cradle's fine to play. Maw, honestly, Winnegon, Maw is reasonable. And I think Maw with Sable is
Mhm.
like, well, Archives doesn't roll well, but how did we go over 10 influence? Oh, because we played all the hippos.
Deep dive, 2 hippos. Yeah, that'll do it.
Like, I feel like there's always just this urge to like jam fermenters in there and call it a day.
Mm.
Black Orchestra is also very bad breaker. It's just resilient against damage. And like, so the benefit of the bin breakers is that you can play the sort of anarch cards and anarch game plan where you can overdraw, discard, trash, you know, do all that sort of stuff that anarchs can do. Outside of paperclip, the anarch breakers are relatively bad unless you have any way to make them interesting. Like you're pawn shopping them, you're cyber trooper looting them, but like you generally don't see Black Orchestra and Gale Trip outside of like, again, they make sense in Atom too, because you can trash them to get value, but on their own, they're not very good. Rob?
Yeah, it isn't like yeah, I certainly agree. Shaper and Crim both have better choices, but and the power of that extra ability is just so dumb, and I can't wait until they're gone. I hate it so much.
Rob's version of Andre Sable. Okay. So
Thank you,
we've
Rob.
cut out a lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
Hold
we've cut out
on.
the Patrick credit
Yeah.
mostly.
Oh, we have a
Jesus
reprise in
Christ.
here and a Patrick credit.
Oh,
That's
okay, there
very
we go.
so
We're back.
true.
Yeah.
Hyperbaric. Honestly, I like Hyperbaric, but I only like Hyperbaric if we're also playing Chesvo, which we're not. I think Unity's the
Mm.
best decoder for Crim because you have Turtle and Boomerang. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you don't install it until you really, really need it. So what's the difference here? 26 events. That's wild. Well, that's 5 more events than us. So we're on Sure Gamble, 2 Pinhole, Mutual, Inside, 3 Falsifieds, which again works with Amakua support. We're not... Rob, weren't you saying... Oh, you're playing Carpe and Dirty. Okay, never mind. Boomerang, Paragon times 2, Zenith times 2. So we're not playing Wake. We literally have no win condition besides the deep dive. But that's like what criminals just do, right?
Yeah, like you can get into the remote, except that you're Sable, so you're probably getting into the huh. Mm.
Like, how do you win? Yeah, that's it. Lost con. Like, you just play so that the opponent doesn't win, which like is totally fine. Okay,
Mhm.
I like a lot of this. So I do want to play 2 hippos though.
I think that's cool.
5, 6, 7, 8,
You
9,
know
10,
what's cool?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But that is 15 influence. So like, is that better than a deep dive and we have just no win condition?
Hmm.
That seems bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that.
I feel back about last con. What do you mean feel back? Do they will make you sad with deep dive? Yeah, we're core damage ourselves anyway. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we're already risking our deep dive.
Be fine.
It's funnier to play about. I
Do
mean,
we just play 1 hippo? That seems so unfortunate.
no, you have to play 2 hippos. My friend Pablo Escobar played 2 hippos, and I don't know what
Ah.
happened to him, but I think uh, Mexico's ecosystem is fine.
I think that's going to damage the rest of the deck, though, right? Like, it's really hard to play 10 influence. We'd have to cut some deuces. Like, Paperclip Unity makes sense. Again, the decoder's pretty bad.
Cat, I've had a corp literally ask me to put them out of their misery in a tournament, and I was like,
I
no,
cannot.
I literally cannot.
That's what it feels like it's playing 419. It's like, wow, I'm in so much control. Could I close the game? No.
No.
I hope they draw. Why not exploit for the meme? It is so painfully bad. Exploit is the like run all 3 central servers to de-res 3 pieces of ice, and it also costs you 2 credits. It's yeah, it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man, how do we not give up on our hippo dream? The Fracture slot feels like Paperclip is necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we only play a single hippo, and then we just call it.
Okay. Okay.
So we still have to cut cards.
No, 48 is a normal amount of cards to bring to a tournament. That's the Patrick guarantee.
Okay, no, I'd like let's try the all event package. Let's try and go as aggro as possible, and then we'll try and cut out these cards that like want us to do something. It's like to sit back and do nothing. 3 Amaku is a bit greedy. We have mutual favor, but I want to get this early. I do you're an
Yeah,
enemy, you're an enemy, and Thodium I concede.
yeah, Rob. That's yeah. We're playing like if I had a ping and an enemy out now, yeah.
Yeah. Are you not running Miss Bones? You must be, Rob. Yeah, you are. 2-2-3. I don't love 3 class act. I feel like Earthrise is just good enough.
Hmm.
Okay, we can play 47, I guess. We probably shouldn't. I think we can cut an inside job. No.
47 is the magic number. That's how you get to 5th place in a 11-person tournament.
That's not a bad number. One hippo does feel like not enough, you're right. One hippo just doesn't feel like enough to like have an impact on the game. 2 hippos though feels messed up. Let's try it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I struggle like 1 mutual favor, 2 Amakuas. Like you want the Amakua basically all the time early. We have no Loki ag tech. I think there's also a reason if you're relying on Amakua to like consider playing Hunting Grounds, just because IP block shows up in all the good NBN decks for, well, all NBN decks. They don't have to be good.
Tranquilizer is a sort of hippo.
I'm kind of interested to play Tranquilizer in Criminal, but like, I think you have to play it in like as to get out, start a turn, something like that. But yeah, actually, Hippo is ag tech technically, but somehow you have to break the Loki. So parts of it, yeah. Probably good Cat's Cradle for more influence. But what can we do with 2 influence that we really are excited about? Okay. Sable Sintashta. No. Nyusha Sable Sintashta. Yeah, we'll try and keep in mind how much, like, how often we install the Unity or the Pseudo Cat's Cradle and, like, what the damage would be in terms of credits. two fifths towards a hippo. We're 4/10 towards a hippo. Any way to work in the 3rd TCA? That's a card I want to have literally every game in the first 3 turns or so. I think you just don't play the Earthrise and you play, like, you just swap Earthrise 1 for 1 for, what's it called? For, I like having the middle point because I feel like paying 4 for 4 cards is worse than 4 for 6 cards, but your mileage may vary. I think if you play Paragon 2, it goes a bit farther. We're playing Penny Shaver. We'll see how we feel about that in a minute.
Oh no! Now you're being bullied by Quiet Quillet about the number of decks you have available.
Oh, you need a 13. Okay, Capaduino loves playing Grinder Jinteki. Shit. We have no win con against Grinder Jinteki. Hey.
I will say I don't mind having 3 class acts because it's one of the few unique cards that like is still useful the second time you play it.
Oh no, for sure, for sure. It's like totally useful. You will play it. But this is the nightmare matchup. We don't have Stargate. We don't have the exposed card. It's just Grinder Jinteki. We're just gonna play fast and loose and like whatever.
Yeah.
Hope we don't see IP block. We can always install it over with a paperclip and like not need the Amakua. This hand is like. Have you ever built a runner not immediately queued into Grinder? I have no idea what that would feel like. This hand's good enough, right? Like we just do Amakua Leech.
Solmir, we actually have exactly the tech to face Grinder, which is 2 more cards than necessary.
How many cards does your deck need to play? Yeah, 47 to start. But I think you just like, you know, archives. Damn it. With 6 credits, we check it, right?
Sure.
We die to Snare. We die to what's it called as well?
Who doesn't?
Oh my god, this Chrysalis! I was thinking like
cool.
the worst case scenario is we die to what's it called? Sorry, give me 1 second. Saisentan? Dice Anemone? Oh, Anemone gets us too, you're right.
Yeah, you would have just been instantly killed by a much more popularized. We don't have to breach the server.
No, we definitely shouldn't.
There we go.
We definitely shouldn't have done that.
And let's take credit. Oh.
Taking credit is worse.
All right.
Yeah, we just died in Anemone, you're right. I was like 3 net damage doesn't exist on a lot of cards, but Anemone is technically 3. No, that is the sort of like, unfortunately, Jinteki, how we play the Jinteki match. Full, yeah, no, that was the full, like, we lose on turn 1 line, but like, I wasn't in the mood to play against P, I'll be honest. It's not a good way to test your deck. It, like, you literally are disincentivized to play most of your deck. It is not a fun matchup at all.
Yeah, what you're watching is us just flailing wildly, like an inflatable arm tube guy.
This card is interesting. It's like hard to get good value from it, but it stops us from dying to like Reaper function. I just don't think it's that deck. I think we just click for credits here. We don't have money. No, our draw is money.
Yeah, draw is better.
Yeah, that's money. Back to Sable. How's it going, Jenny? Snare tech? Yeah, it's technically snare tech. Does this get rid of both parts of snare? It says that when you would take any amount of tags or suffer any amount of net damage. On snare... Okay, so when it says first time, is it first time you take any tags or any net damage? On snare, you take the net damage first and then the tag? It's on the FAQ. What does it say when I got it? Stimulation research to thrash 3 cards. That's not a proactive game plan. Oh, you choose. So they happen at the same time. Okay. But you only get one. Okay, that's good to know.
Another card I wrote the flavor text for.
Oh, yeah? This one?
Mm-hmm.
I like this one a lot. All right, well, free value. We might steal a negative or a core damage or whatever. Yeah, it's stock buyback. It's grinder. I don't want to play this. We'll draw up.
But you dedicated your life to this? We're on stream? I should have been asleep 4 hours ago. You are going to play this goddamn game.
I'm so sorry. I'm just running archives. I just want counters on this. Now we can break every ice in the format. And means simultaneous. Okay. It's a hybrid.
I love embezzle.
We lost no one home. Okay. So we just
no one home did his job.
We run archives. Perfect. Yeah. Does it dream of the timeline where we get RP instead of P? Yo, sweet. I agree. I think P at this point needs to go. I don't think it makes interesting games anymore. I think it's just yeah. I would rather see a different Jinteki, and I think eventually it will rotate. What goes around comes around. I don't know what that means. I didn't do anything, did I? Trace is unsuccessful. The runner then chooses between avoiding tags or preventing the net damage. The corp doesn't even know what they're boosting the trace into. London, that is so cool. So here we could blunder into a snare, but if they pay 4 credits here, we're fine. We don't have enough money, though, to break reasonable ice. I don't think we have to do anything aggressively. I think we just like take all the money off of this, install Class Act.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Then we might as well just run archives more, because if we're going to click this, we might as well click it for all the money.
Build that up a little bit more, get some tokens.
Yeah, they might purge, and like if they do, archives is open. So we have to do this. Gain 7, Class Act refill. We get a filter draw. So we don't need the penny shaver. Everything else is like an equal value.
Yep, that's fine.
Bingo curled on the monkey's fob. P rotated out and IG came back. Kakarenbo IG even. Yikes.
Oh god. Is Kakarenbo IG busted in Eternal? Is that really?
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of IG in Eternal. It's probably quite good. Archives is the mark. You want to run it and force him to res like a thing? Nothing. Okay. So here, let's go find a snare. We can steal Nobukata with the sand, no problem. Anemone, let's see if they trash. Yeah, just any damage, right? Like that's all the deck is. It's like do any damage.
That's all they want to do.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Stock buyback, great. So they'd be running all the 1-pointers. Well, we'll go back. It's free, right?
Yeah, they got 6 of those. Yeah. It's too bad.
So here we can like crack the penny shaver, install an Earthrise. I think that's fine.
Do you not want to check R&D? Isn't Chrysalis
Nah, but doing it on 3rd click is pretty awkward.
Fair,
like there's nothing we're really excited of stealing. Like Obokata's the one thing, but we don't have enough cards in hand even. Like we should have drawn once there before going back anyways. Purge incoming?
I'm not actually
I think so.
I'm not actually sure. Like this seems like the kind of deck where like they kind of want you to get into these servers anyway, right? Like
yeah, but if they purge, we can't do anything. We're Sable, right? Like we have to top deck our mutual or our you want to reprise their anemone so they can re-res it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can just take like 1 damage off the enemy to get back into the game.
You shouldn't, but I think you're right.
Or Boomerang.
Oh, we have a mutual favor. Wait, we have one. Yeah, we have a mutual. Excuse me. We have the one in hand. So we just have to click for credits here, right? So because we want to get down our mutual favor. So mutual favor breaks us for free. Mutual favor costs 3 to install. Yeah, we can't really afford to run. We could always play the Carpe Diem to just get the money. The thing is, like, I don't think in this matchup that a card is worth 3 credits. Like, I think this matchup is so slow that we could actually preserve as many cards as we can. Like, I don't think losing
they are
a turn
not
here
scoring
matters.
agendas so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, click for 4 is usually right. That's again, it's one of the worst parts about playing a P is so many turns click for 4 is like correct. Paperclip, we want to lose the damage. Diversion like changes the game terribly. I don't think we're gonna need the paperclip.
Hmm.
Yeah, here we just dupe them down to 0. Thrilling gameplay, yeah, tell me about it. This is why again, I'll access it to card on top of R&D, inflate those JNet win rates. It's probably pretty bad
Yeah.
sporting.
Is the plan to doof then mutual?
Shit, we can't do both,
Hmm.
right? Like we can doof here, and then it's just a 1 in 6 to hit the mutual that we need. If we get Bugalter first, I don't think we can afford it. Right, like so we install the Bugalter.
No,
Oh, we can, we
no,
can, we
we
can.
can totally afford it. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course we can,
excuse
for
me.
sure.
Yeah, credit perfect, right? Credit perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do the math. Seemed important to do the math. Excuse me.
No, you've got to go by feeling.
So this is why I play Stargate in every 419 deck I play. So we like imagine we had a Stargate here, we'd actually would control the game. Now we don't control
Yep,
the game anymore.
100%.
We just have to wait until we win the game, which like the problem is like if you play against the acid decks, they actually try and do something and push on their remote server, and I don't think the Corp here will.
Okay, replacing the Chrysalis.
Yeah, that's fine. Bounty's good. Pinhold is not that great. Archives is the mark. I think we run. Like, there's a chance this is a diviner. If it is, like, whatever.
Mhm. Hey, here's some cool word facts. If you don't mind me
Fact away.
sharing word facts on the stream. I found out recently that chrysalises are specific to butterflies
Yeah,
and cocoons are specific to moths.
I didn't know that.
And the word for an insect emerging from a casing is eclosion.
That's a good word.
It's a fun word to know.
Eclosion.
Eclosion.
Who needs Hippo and Turtle Leech but kills eyes? I think there's a stop with the
God damn it!
buyback. I think like we're gonna discard a card here, so I think we just Bravado HQ.
Mhm.
Stargate Sable not often. It would be interesting. I don't know if it does anything. Like you don't get more value from it from Sable than anything else. So I would be my first call. And like it's just like, yeah, are all oh wait, no, we should have broken with this one. Sorry. I'll break with Turtle. Yeah, Turtle is one cheaper.
Quiet, you're not
Sting.
gonna get a word out of me. But actually, now thinking about eclosion would be an amazing word for a Jinteki like ice related event.
Anytime I see a plant that can hurt you, I want it to be a Jinteki card.
Hmm.
I learned about Gorse. Do you know what Gorse is? I can't believe Gorse
No,
is a
what's
word.
gorse?
Sorry?
No, what is gorse?
Gorse is like a name for a very pretty yellow kind of flowery bramble that grows all over like this is just Grinder.
Gorse. Let me look that up.
Like I don't know what their game plan is.
It's spelt like an Australian would say goose.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to install Zenith unless I want to install Zenith. Yeah, Gorse is all over the UK.
Ulex,
That's where I learned it
commonly known
from.
as gorse, furs or win.
It's just like a bramble that flowers that
Hmm,
like hurt.
cool.
You and your opponent both forgot a pack of WinCon. Yeah, I know. Eventually, they just stock buyback though for 300 credits. Like they're going to be running Chiashi. They're going to be running Anemone. What's it called? Like they're running all the big ice. Let's just run R&D.
Grinder, hoagie, or subway. The next PE deck will be called Rubin.
So
You know what? You know what's that? I mean, this is probably not something that does not affect you. Oh, Kusanagi, what?
well, yeah, because they're playing buyback, right? Everyone just
Oh yeah,
pays all
yeah,
their
of course,
points.
of
Like
course.
it's one net damage and 3 credits for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, it's not Netrunner related at all. I will.
Mine
I don't
neither.
want to distract. Okay, great. You go first, then I'll do
Okay,
mine.
so I was watching Only Connect, and on the wall they had
Of
one
course.
that had like Grinder, Hoagie, Subway, and there was a submarine Grinder, Hoagie, and then something else. And I couldn't
Mhm.
remember what a Hoagie is. I've heard or a Grinder
Yeah.
is. I knew what a Hoagie was because I've heard that word before, but I didn't know what the heck it was. And
Mm.
then the only way that it got to mind is like, do you remember? I didn't mean to draw there. There's like an Adam Sandler Lunch Ladyland song that you heard when you were like a teenager, and
God,
there's like
no.
hoagies and grinders, and that was the only way that I knew what
Yeah,
that word is. Anyways, I had to like
I learned a lot of words from early
Wakanga.
Adam Sandler music. I learned what a bad car is. Yeah, I was actually gonna say I learned what a hoagie was when playing Day of the Tentacle. That's pretty funny.
Oh, cool.
Uh, I mentioned Reuben, which is like a sandwich. I think I can't remember what a Reuben is actually. But so
Reuben is like ham
2
and sauerkraut, I think.
as ham and sour yeah. I think it was a smoked meat based thing. So
Yeah.
the 2 basically my 2 favorite Montreal smoked meat places are closing down or have closed down within, like, the last 2 weeks.
Which two?
The Main, which is across the street from
It's meant
Schwartz's.
to be
Like,
better than
Schwartz's is the
Schwartz's. Yeah.
yeah, it's the, like, iconic like, Schwartz's is the iconic Montreal smoked meat store. It's,
Yeah.
like, super cramped. It's owned by Celine Dion or something. And the Main is just across the street, usually half as busy, just as good or better. And the other one is just, like, a small butcher shop called Quebec Smoked Meat, which is, like, in, St. Charles?
Okay.
Verdun? It's a little bit south of me. It's the place that my father gets all his smoked meat from, and we're a big smoked meat family, so, like, it's the place like, he goes there, he gets a loaf of rye bread, a pound of smoked meat, and that's, like, our lunches for the next few days.
It's another Nemini. Just every single point of damage. This is so frustrating. I live in Philadelphia and hoagies are native word. Cool. Yeah, I knew it's like a very American word. You don't hear it up here. Why
Yeah, well,
Earthrise?
I'm trying to push for us to have a Philadelphia-based Netrunner cycle, and the icon will be a hoagie
That's
or a cheesesteak.
that's an oboe. We let them draw that. We do want to steal
Yeah,
at some
sure.
point. Why Earthrise? It's clickless card draw, right? And like we need it if we want to contest
Mhm.
Earthrise and then draw up. So next turn we're gonna run the oboe in hand.
Game of Droids, that's very funny, and I wish I'd laughed out loud at that, it deserved it.
The icon isn't gritty. So I'm gonna draw
Ah, man,
once more.
gotta get more fellow worker cards onto the Netrunner.
License the Wawa logo. These are things I only know from like friends from college here and from Philly. You know what the Pittsburgh toilet is? Man, I want to use that term when talking about Netrunner decks because there's a lot of decks that have a Pittsburgh toilet in it.
Is this like a never mind. I know so many other gross things that
No,
are
no,
like,
it's not a
do you
gross
know have
thing.
you
It's
ever
not.
heard
It's
about
not
the
one of those.
Staten
It's not one of
Island
those.
whitefish? Yeah, okay, sorry, go on, tell me,
So there's
please.
this idea that in Pittsburgh, a lot of basements have a toilet that is just standing in the middle of a room.
Just in the middle of the room, of course, there's a
Exactly.
99% visible
Yeah,
about
exactly.
this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were being literal.
No,
I
no, yeah.
assumed this was like a sex position that's the most degrading thing to everyone involved.
That's a spin doctor. So they just got rid of their oboe. Unless they didn't. Okay, so now we run everything. Uh
Now, a Montreal spin doctor is a sex position, but everyone enjoys it. It's a good time for all involved.
okay, so we're gonna run
Oh,
that
there's our
first.
hippo.
Then we're gonna install the hippo. We're gonna use it when they res like a big thing. Has a criminal with wake and flux capacitor ever been played? I've seen no deck play flux capacitor. I don't think it's worth it. Like just to charge a wake. I don't think that'd be worth
Mhm.
it. All right, there might be an oboe in here. Our
But I guess you could
Marcus.
charge a wake on the way into R&D. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's cool. But yeah, you just play the shaper, Padma or whatever.
Kazi String Padma is, yeah.
And another anemone, okay. Just running out of damage. I worry that there's gonna be a points in archives. They can't really fast events out to score out what's it called? What is it called?
No one knows.
Doof?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot I had a doof. Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna
Thank you,
discard
cat.
a card anyways. Yeah, I forgot we had one of these. Yeah, let's nobody play Netrunner here. So they survived all the doofs. So like nobody has a win condition. We definitely don't.
That's kind of fun. So Wicked. Yeah, you keep the poison vial stacked up. You've got like Kongamato,
Oh, flux poison. That is
like
neat.
that.
That is kind of neat.
Mm.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like using poison. It's another anemone, you want to bet. So like using
Yeah.
poison to charge something that can charge itself, it's okay. But using poison to charge, or sorry, using capacitor to charge something that literally cannot charge itself, right? Like poison vial, that to me seems much more interesting suddenly.
Mhm.
All right, so archives is just gonna have like one of these in it. We don't need a Miss Bones. We don't need any of these cards though. Let's go
What if a boat?
eat our
What if
poison.
boat could not charge itself?
I think that's a big thing.
Every,
Is like, and
everything else was the same, but it could not charge itself.
I think, Whiteblade said this as well. Is like in hindsight, if Boat had to lean more on the charge mechanic to be balanced.
Mhm.
All right,
Yep.
so that's a Maganga out. They're gonna resonant enemy to do 2 damage. The Obokata might be in hand, but we just have to steal an Obokata this turn, otherwise we're discarding cards. Ike on R&D. Did we see an Ike? So we have to take that. Okay, now we're on game point. We can go.
Might draw when we've got. Oh no, I guess the deuces is just hit points.
Yeah, it's just hit
If we could,
points.
yeah.
We don't want to reprise, right? No.
Oh come on.
So we definitely want to drop. We could drop. We could run back one here. The worst would be a sting. I don't think we have to like goof it
Okay,
up.
wait, instead of drawing, now we reprise because now we can survive a snare or whatever.
This is worth more as a hit point. Like, what are we gonna do? Return an
The
enemy so that we can
fact
do 2 more
that you
damage?
invite me onto your
Sorry, Pat.
stream where you
Pat, I need to
entertain
win against PE,
thou-
man.
thousands of
I
people.
need to
Thousands of people
win
are looking
against
at you like,
PE.
please, sir, I haven't had fun all week. Let me see you have fun. And you refuse. You're like, no, we need a win against Grinder.
It's important no one's having fun, okay?
Huh.
Hippo Hunt, yeah, 5 influence. We had 10
Sorry,
influence of
chat.
Hippo.
I tried. Thousands of millions of viewers.
I think.
What accent was that? Sorry, that I was sick. It just came out in my throat.
All right, are they gonna res something now?
What accent was that?
We have to start. I think it
Was
was
that,
like your Dickens child.
It is a bit of my Dickens child with a bit of my prospector with COVID, which is my normal voice. That I resist doing.
Ugh.
That's an agenda. Now we win. We've got 4 agendas.
Stop it. Yeah. Now we
Yeah,
win.
it is pretty sick, Oliver. Definitely the best Oliver.
I kind of want to go HQ. Like, I want to hit snares this turn because I can't fire them. How much damage does Sting do? Like, this is the thing that I'll lose to is I don't know the math on Sting because I could never figure it out. I'll just run once a turn. It's good enough. The restraint. You learned so much restraint playing against Jinteki. Oh, we had a HQ mark last turn. We probably should have ran HQ. Yeah.
Sorry, what are people talking about restraint? You ran click 1.
Oh, so true.
With 2 cards in hand.
So true.
And now you're like, I don't want to use reprise. It's a hit point.
Can't believe they paid for that. But I guess that's their only way. Like, we literally have done nothing and we have 10 cards left. Like, we've played like literally 8 cards and we have 10 cards left.
And one of those cards starts with an R, ends with an reprise.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels weird.
So how much damage does Sting do? It does 1 damage. It just does 2 damage.
Quite actually, that's a good way. Andre is kind of like an Atom in that he has a character arc over the course of a Netrunner game.
Yeah, that was my always be running phase, and then I trashed it. So now we can
exactly. Yeah. You've emergented. You've creatively thought. Yeah, restraint is me staying in this. I'm just like my sinuses are like stuffed with cement right now.
So now we're gonna find another snare, and we're gonna be on no hit points.
Rob, that's a good point. We often don't think about how much fun the opponent's having.
I think the worst part is that there's no ice that we care to hippo. Great.
Yeah. Once again, reprise, hanging on.
Can't play it, Pat. Oh, we could have saved a credit there. We break with the turtle.
I mean, you definitely don't want to bounce the...
make it... Can we just get... I want to get off Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. Credit. How do you win? With snare, I think.
How do you win?
I'm so salty. Apologies. I'm so salty.
You have 6 agenda points.
No. But we hit one more snare. We're actually like in dire straits. Like, this is what they have to do now.
I want to get off Miss Bones' Wild Ride.
Yeah. Like, this is now where we lose to this.
Yeah. Reprise is a 5th card. Oh, man. You're terrible. Well, just play the second.
Whoa, I didn't click. I meant to click archives, but it said server 4. Did you see that?
I saw you click server 4, Andre.
I'm checking all of these. Nothing can hurt me. Besides the things that hurt me, but they only hurt me a bit. Like, pay for snare. You have no money now.
I was going to... God damn that reprise.
I can't believe it's still there.
We can't use it anymore. You've ruined...
No, we still Kusanagi, man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess there's 1 Kusanagi left.
So if we hit a Kusanagi in archives, we take 1 net damage. Yeah, I don't care. Start with RNG because no mana player skill can beat RNG. So true. There's a Hokusai. Yeah. I don't even know if we have to remove the tag. Oh, we have 5 cards left, and we've just been accessing single cards. Like, I don't get this. This is just the eventuality of clicking for credits. It's simulation reset.
Yeah.
Oh
Huh.
Man.
I kind of feel like I've been thrown into an incinerator.
Watch replay did change to server 4. Yeah, you're right. I clicked archives and then suddenly they have no credits though. So like we don't care about any of this. It could be a spin doctor. So we just need to get 4 credits so that we can, or 4 cards in hand so we can steal Obokata.
Keith, don't feed into his delusions.
No, it's so true. It's so true.
I'm the one who has to deal with it. I'm the one who has to deal with this.
So
you get to go home.
So on 0 credits, like maybe there's Rashid in this deck. I'd be surprised. God, I just want to trash that. Ugh. Make it stop.
Just bounce one of the remote cards.
Oh my god, Boba, that's
every
actually
day.
Play? It takes a microsecond to load new servers. It's a spin doctor. Okay, they have something in hand.
KM. I don't know.
It's a chrysalis. Okay, so this is an ice, so we definitely have to break it. What if they're on genotyping? Fine. Can I trash chrysalis now? Oh, nice. So if we go back, they campfire snare. There's nothing that punishes us. They definitely have an agenda in HQ considering they drew at spin doctor. So it's probably a 1 in 3 here. We've got all the Kusanagis, like a very good runner, doing all their homework, stealing all those up. Num 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 num. And now we're free. We're free. Literally 3 cards left.
GG, everybody.
Yeah, GG I don't know, man. So like that's the Jinteki PE problem is like, so immediately we could play Stargate. There's ways around it. We have no win condition. Yeah, that's on us. Like that's it. But like, it's just so much brute inevitability from it. Oh man. Like we didn't make decisions. We stopped making decisions on like turn 4.
Yeah, under the wire.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go again.
Wait, Andre, but before you start, I hate to do this. It goes against every fabric of my being.
Yeah.
But I can't do a reprise right now. That's right. Yeah, that's right, folks. The whole stream was leading up to that joke. I know, but I think I need to.
Yeah, no, that's fair, man. Rest up. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna play one more on the stream, but I appreciate you dropping by, man.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for saying hi, and I'll talk to you all very soon.
Take care, dude.
Bye.
Thanks for dropping by.
Bye.
All right. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's not it. That's the one. How's everyone doing? Get well soon, Pat. Yeah, bye. Okay, so I can take these headphones off. I probably realize how loud I was yelling. There's no way that I wasn't inappropriately loud for that point in the evening. Okay. My partner's laughing in the other room. Yeah. Hey, Brendan, how's it going? Is RH okay? Yeah, totally. Everything's okay for what it's worth, as much as that reaction feels physically unhappy. But no, everything's fine. Anything, of course. Best of luck, have fun. Okay, so now we're playing against RH, and RH is going to do some cool Regenesis stuff. My thing with Restoring Humanity is that if you can just run archives every single turn, they generally don't do much. There's been some interesting Restoring Humanity decks posted, but I think the one that I'm most familiar with is like Sand City Grid remote server to score out Regenesis and like get an Obokata on the table. So like if you don't have anything face down in archives, they can't do anything. So no, you're fine. So Double Miss Bones is a bit ugly. Diversion doesn't really do anything. Deuce is the only card in their hand that's playable. It's hard to face check into the stuff, but like if they ever res 8 credits for a Nansei on like turn 1 or turn 2, and they can explode in credits because they're definitely going to play Hansei review. It's not like we can actually use the big altar. We're going to mulligan that. That seems better. This is one of the matchups where Carpe Diem feels a bit better than Dirty Laundry because we can just play it and not have to make a run. I've been reading the Vorkasigan saga lately, and I'm excited to start Babel by R.F. Kwang. Did Patrick give any book corrects? Nice. All right, so just hedge fund, nothing face down. Let's get a good HQ's the mark. Hate it. Cursed. Okay. Is this a Zenith game? Like this is the cost of Zenith, right? Like here we could dip into the depths of unrecoverable economy. It's like 3 oboe, 3 bacteria. I'll be surprised. I think it's usually 3 oboe. Maybe I've been looking at startup too long. 3 oboe, 3 Regenesis, and then like something weird. Some people play Blood in the Water. Again, it's an 18 too, so I don't think it's just 3 oboe, 3 bacterial, because they generally play what's it called as well, Regenesis, and then you know that messes up everything. So maybe it's 3 Oboe, 3 Regenesis, 2 Send a Message, or 2 Bacterial. That would make sense too. So, no economy in our hand. Well, we have Carpe Diem. Could we just send it into HQ? Did London keep? London kept. So we're going to just do this for credits. No thanks. Oh, on Punitive. I'd be surprised about Punitive, but I think Punitive would be an angle that would catch us on definition by surprise. I feel like Zenith is probably playable on this hand. All our hands are good. That's the issue with Zenith. It's like our hand is just good. Obokata core damage kind of matters. And I think they're going to ice up every server. Like, obviously they are. Is this going to be good enough? Let's just hope it doesn't hit a card that we like. Yeah, that would seem good. They were all good, though. We probably should have played the classic, one of these down first. Hansei, okay, they're going to have a lot of money. So at least we'll install this, and hopefully we draw into some playable economy. 3 Oboe, 3 Regenesis, 3 Blood in the Water. I think that's a possibility. I think I've seen that in startup, but I just don't understand what the Blood in the Waters are doing, right? Like, it's not like they're attack. Maybe like that's something a reprise after after the Obokata. So they have a Hansei and they didn't play it. So this seems to be really important. I'm imagining it's probably a Rashida. I don't know what else you jam out super quick there, unless it's like seamless into like Nisei Mark II or something. Okay, so we have a couple lines. We can Boomerang Diversion, and that's pretty good. It gives us 1 click left to run server 1. We get our mark off on that. Yeah, let's just try that. Just do front remote, yeah. There's a chance the Boomerang's not necessary. We also could have Boomerang run remote, but like our mark is here. If they resonate Nancy, they go down to 1 credit. Like, yeah, the damage in this hand is fine. It's a DNA tracker. Damn. Okay, well, do we take 1 credit from them? So we'll break that. Funny enough is we don't have money to lose, so the DNA tracker just doesn't have damage. Please hit the paperclip. Oh, well, okay. That's great. So we get a breach here. We get a card draw. That was so sick. Do we want to take their credit? I think we'd rather take an access here than their credit. No, we need a credit for Rashida. We're going to literally, we're going to take the credit. Well, let's see what we draw from Zenith first. What? Oh, these. We have a money problem. There's no way around that. Like, this allows us to trash Rashida. And Nancy would be fine. If they res a Nancy there, yeah, that's literally the version 1 being correct. Oh, I forgot we had a credit left. We actually could have got an access click for credit. I forgot we got a click back. Yeah, nice. Okay, well, we have to recover with this thing. Gamble, keep, career fair. We don't have career fair, though. So now they're in an ugly spot because they have a Hansei in hand, and like it's going to take them a whole turn of clicking for credits. And we can always like just dupe through this if we really wanted to. We could trade 3 net damage. Again, if we don't have money, it doesn't do anything. That's a spin doctor. That's an NGO front. Okay. So we'll run R&D for the card. Penny Shaver would have been really good, actually. We'll take the Zenith first. Nice. We could have drawn ones for that. Hansei up the top. So they have Hansei. That's an NGO. So I think we have to try that. Yeah, I know. I career fair and mutual kind of like same pose. I get it. So here, unfortunately, we have to do some ugly stuff. I think we do credit. We dirty laundry. We need to run this with at least 1 credit so that they contest it. I think we could start there. It's definitely an NGO front, so we don't want to dirty laundry because the server would disappear. So we can do credit. Now they can Hansei. We'll draw 2, gain 3. Then we have too many cards in hand, actually. Oh, we scuffed this. Oh no, draw 2, sorry. So I don't want to show the info bounty here. With 5 credits, I don't know what this is. This seems like it's something that ends the run. Like, I'm actually pretty sure that this has to be an Enigma, or like it has to hard end the run because they try to score a Rashida behind it. So I'm kind of tempted to send the Bravado into server 1. It's like riskier than it needs to be, but if they res it, they can't Hansei. So I'm going to do it. Like, this is just a 7 credit play. It's pretty bad value overall. But like if they res here, they can't Hansei. Yeah, so we got it. So we just got 4 credits, whatever. You don't have Into Bounty installed. Yeah, exactly. Oh, hand size. Shit on me. I'm gonna get rid of the favor, I think. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I don't want to show this. It's not like the security testing. We install it only when we need it. So we don't want to pre-install it if we don't get use from it. That feels bad. I don't know. I think we have to boomerang to the DNA tracker. But like their economy doesn't seem robust. Well, Hansei now, actually. Maybe this is the worst card. We just need to get our, like, we have open servers. We just need to 100% spin up our Amakuas by now. So maybe that was wrong, yeah. I think I feel bad about that. But Galter at bottom want to hold the mutual. Oh, they turned their economy. Let's get an R&D mark. Oh, that's sick. Die to snare. No, we draw first. That's perfect. Okay. So they could be on punitive, but I think they're also going to like dirtle a bit and do very little. Okay, that's good to know. Here we just need to continue setting up a bit. We've got to remember we have 4 hand size. We want to do this and this. They're going to ice up R&D eventually. We have another Hansei in hand. Yeah, the mutual was definitely way better in hand, but at least the dupe is now something. Big deal. Yeah, that's 5 influence, right? So if they're on this and 3 spin doctors, that takes them to 8. But that means they're just going to do big money, hold HQ, and score Obokatas from hand. So they're definitely on, I would say, probably still Regenesis, but as many 5/3s as they can legally afford. If we deuces here, what can we draw into? We're going to play it anyways. We'll be able to play a card from here. Okay, Unity breaks DNA tracker for some money. I'm just going to get money down. I don't want to show that we have the leech. Oh, yeah, we boomer shuffled. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, so the Galter's not at the bottom anymore because we did boomerang shuffle. I think I'm going to start note-taking at tournaments just to remember what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, Soulmere, CPID, for sure. All right, so now we're kind of in a bad spot. Could deuces to see the server 1 ice? That's true, but then we'd have to run. Yeah, maybe we could run R&D there. I think we're played all of our deuces, though. No, we've won more. But yeah, the expose on the ice is actually kind of reasonable. I think it's like hard for them because if they're running all the big ice, how do they big deal? But I feel like they might have might want to have their cake and eat it too. So we need to get the unity down before we face check, such is the problem of criminal. Let's draw. All right, well, I think we can draw up once more and install. The problem here is that this is likely Regenesis, so we either have to face check archives or face check server 1. They Hansei'd this a while ago and they iced it up. I'm going to just go for the flip. Like, I think we're going to take some amount of net damage here, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world net damage. That I'm going to just like respect the flip on archives, because if that's a Regenesis, they get 4 points. We can't allow that to happen. So maybe we take Bathonimus 3 net damage here. I just don't want to. Yeah, there, that's fine. It's whatever, but we can't let them have this. It's a virus. Okay. Maybe we were a bit too cautious here, but once bit, twice, whatever. Oh, that's really important. Yeah, it's Rashida. Okay. So if we get that down, you seeing where this is? You get that down, you get that DNA tracker. Feels pretty strong on its own. And then we just go ahead and pay an additional 8 credits. Out of sight, out of mind. Oh, yeah, once a bit, twice, whatever. I know what the expression is meant to be. Executing is the difficulty. All right, second eyes on archives. I think Bathonimus is like pretty good on its own. Once we get our Bagalter down, like we do break this for what? 2 after refund? That's reasonable. Reprise is better than Hippo? You take that back. This thing's shit. I saw the Hippo coming from a mile away. Why would you double ISIS? I guess into Boomerang, right? Like Boomerang Doof kind of does something, and like they're on big deal money. Big deal 17, right? Yeah. 17. All right, well, I don't think we're doing much here. We've kind of been locked out. I think this is sort of nightmare. Like this big ice on every server is like really hard for us to get good value from Sable, right? Like this is why 419 feels better against Sable. They would have like 6 less credits. The extra clicks we got from Sable weren't that impactful, I don't think. I'm spending my influence on 2 twinnings. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. The thing is like we're not playing Chesva, so we also have to change the deck. But twinning is good. It's kind of what you do in startup Sable if you're not like deep diving. I forget about the twinning in Criminal. It's really good. All right, just drop. This is hard because if we play, like that's the issue too, is like our deck has so much of its money attached to running. Like we don't have fermenters. We don't even have daily cast. We don't have anything that will give us money that's not interaction based besides clicking for credits. So like we've played 2 sure gambles. So if we install this Earthrise Hotel, right, like we're going to draw cards and not have the money to do anything with them. So like best case scenario is like Boomerang and R&D and Bravado, but at this point that's very likely to be an Anunci. I'm back at my virtuoso hand control. Yeah, I think we might have, like, we probably needed to keep the Begalter or the mutual favor to get Begalter down because we're just kind of powerless into it. But it's like, I don't know. It's not like we can do much with any of this. Like, now we lose to Regenesis. Cling for credits is perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine. I don't think it's exciting, but like, I don't think they're gonna score 4 points this turn. Probably need to stop playing against Jinteki. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know what we do here. I literally don't know how we get out of this hole. It's really bad. Like, again, I felt like last time I played 419 at a tournament is all my money was run based as well. And I really miss just like having Ferment or Telework Liberated, just like anything that'll give you money without interacting. I feel like the Hoshiko economy is there. Running on server 1, maybe. Like, we're going to take a shit ton of damage. I think it's going to be fine. We have Paperclip but no money. I think yeah, let's just bravado it. Like, what's going to happen? 2 ice? Yeah, who cares? Like, his hand is so bad. We can lose all of this to Nancy. It doesn't matter. That's not a good start. Let's keep this Hippo, though. Nice. Okay, so we die here to a lot of things. We have to jack out here. All right, bad trade. Bad trade overall. Yeah, I think they're just playing all the biggest dice. Yeah, this feels awful. The thing is, like, imagine we're playing Cat's Cradle. Like, how do we deal with this? Keeping them off big deal money? Oh, it's just a Rashida. The thing is, like, if they big deal right now, it's the best thing they could possibly do for us. Like, if they pay 17 credits to score an Obokata protocol, yeah, sick. I'm in. I'm so into that. Like, here they have to jam. Like, they have such a good window to score an Obokata, let alone to send a message. Right now, Uni's more expensive Cat's Cradle. No, it's not. It's the same. It's the same. It costs 1 more, and they would have paid 9 for this. Yeah, sort of. It'll get better. How many Amakus do we have left? 1 in the deck. Second ice. Okay, or second upgrade. So upgrades are a problem. Man, our ability to inside job is good. If inside job hits an Anansi, it's really quite bad. Okay, so what can we possibly do there? Like, we just don't have the mutual favors. We threw it out. Don't ask me. Hippo the server 1 kill DNA tracker. If we do that, we have no money. Like, we literally, that's all our money. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Leech early game is really good. I think Leech is quite good. It like helps you do the thing that you want to do. It's literally worth a credit every run. It's like a penny shaver, but limited and can be purged out. There's some downsides. So here, what is the upgrade we're assuming? Like, I think it's probably a Sand. That's usually what shows up in this deck. If it's just like an actual defensive upgrade, we're in such a bad spot. Sable's stronger than she looks, even 419's attacks. I don't think so. Like, I'm not even sure. Like, okay, so for how many turns in the last like game has, well, the last game where none of our abilities mattered, but like, we've not been doing a good job getting any value off of a mark. If you play against any deck that has like really big ice, right? Like, imagine you're playing against an Ag Infusion, this deck, if you're playing against potentially some of the bigger ice in NBN, like, you just can't run your mark that easily a lot of the time. Like, it just doesn't make sense for you. So you have a blank ability. The best case scenario is like playing against Wayland Fast Advance, like where they don't ice up everything else because they're going to the remote server. Then yeah, you get a bunch of free accesses. That's nice. But like, the penny shaver is probably not going to pay off before the end of the game. Like, I don't know. We just need to find our breakers. I threw out a mutual favor like a chump. All right, R&D is the mark. We could do Boomerang Send It. That plays around a bit of the Anansi, but not the part of the Nancy that matters. Whatever, it gets it back in the deck. That's better than losing it. In theory, the game has a long way to go. None of you have points. They will have a point soon, but the longer the game goes, like we have so little power that like we cannot pay to go through DNA Tracker more than twice in the game. I feel the big guys, right? Like 3 DNA Tracker. Like, what do we do? We have to reprise. We literally have to reprise to have a chance here. We're gonna have 4 cards in hand. That's great. So we'll boomerang that. Oh, we actually have more cards because this is neat. So we'll break 2 of them. Like if you don't run D-Res, I don't know how you get purchase on this. Hedge fund. Yikes. Yeah, the Doof Snipes, like, I don't know if they're actually going to do anything. Okay, so we're on 11. I thought we had a sure gamble. No, it's their hedge fund. Okay. So we inside job this. They can probably res whatever this is. I don't know what this pattern is. It looks to me like that might be Regenesis. I don't know what this is. Like, is it a real defensive upgrade? There's a chance it's a Lacosta. I think Lacosta is probably the most likely thing here. And then they score at a 5-3 next turn. If they pay that much money to score at a 5-3, I think we're fine. Barring a send a message. If it's send a message, it's a bit ugly. I think it's more likely to be a Lacosta or a defensive upgrade than a Hokusai, because this doesn't seem to be like incidental net damage deck. It seems to like it actually has some sort of plan. So I think next turn we install the Hippo, run R&D, and open it up. So we'll just do credit. Pinhole is important. This doesn't do anything. Yeah, we'll see what this is. There's a chance again they'll be on 4 points next turn, and then they just big deal. Like, I think that's a big trick here. Ah, shit. Food. Okay, yeah. You see, this is the big issue. Is that we've had to run archives that turn. They could have scored this at the turn earlier, and they didn't. They put the upgrade there, so I'm not sure why that was. But they could have triple advances. I'm pretty sure they didn't. That caught us by surprise. Yeah, maybe it's an anoetic. I don't know if you need it. Maybe you're worried about inside job. But yeah, now they big deal the last point out, so I don't think they're even going to push in a remote server. All right, so now we rip the board state up and hope they don't have ice. If we lose the Begalter to a snare, we lose the game. Archives is the mark. Feels bad. Yeah, it's not great. Okay, so here we can install 2 of these. We go down to 9. That means that this breaks it for, okay, so math. So ideally we open up R&D this turn. That'd be kind of nice. So if we do the Hippo, we run R&D again. As soon as they put it ice here and don't res it, so we have a limited window. So if we install the Hippo, they probably, mind you, have another agenda in HQ. They've done so little filtering. Yeah, Liberated's really good. And like, this is a matchup, they're slow enough that we can play Liberated, let alone Career Fair Liberated, like, or Telework or Fermenter. There's so many ways you could do it. So, okay, if we install, okay, so if we want to break this, excuse me, it's 5, 6, 7, 8. As soon as we install another breaker, so say we install the Begalter, which is important, so we don't lose it to damage, then this becomes to 3 to 5 to 6. So it saves as much money. Okay. So now if we install this, we go into 8. Yeah, we'll be gutted on economy. But hey, if life gives you a Hippo, you smash into a DNA tracker and you feel happy about it. I wish we had a better mark here. Yeah, we definitely should run archives. I think we should have inside jobbed archives. I think that's a play that we saw coming from a mile away. I think the upgrade confused us, but like, we respected that a turn prior. Bye now. That was 5 influence. Genotyping. No, really? I think we did the math. Maybe Leech could have came down sooner this turn. Oh, let's just do this for money. Whatever. Yeah, we could have got the Leech down first, actually. It's worth the credit for sure. It also is much better math with Begalter too, because then you actually can use Begalter to make money. Good luck and good night. Hey, cheers, Sophie. Thanks for dropping by. Genotyping. Why? Yeah, so these are cards that were like somewhat played. Specifically, mostly you saw them in prison decks, right? But like this was before Spin Doctor, right? And after Jackson Howard. But generally you saw these, like these have a bad taste to a lot of players' mouths because these are the sort of decks that are just like, I'm going to shuffle 3 snares back. And I don't think that's what London's doing here. The big deal has to go back. The DNA tracker. They're going to res 4 DNA trackers this game. And like, we can no longer face check. Okay, like, well, can we face check? They can't res Chiashi. It can't be the last DNA tracker. So it's probably an Anansi. If it's an Anansi, we need 7. R&D is the mark though. We should have got this down. Yeah, I'm playing this really poorly. Oh, it's a mind game. If you and the runner spend a different number of credits, choose another server. The runner's now running on that server instead of passing mind game. For the remainder of the run, the runner adds 1 installed card. Okay. I'm just going to break that for 3. Turtle's good. Obokata, we have to take it. This hand is fine. We have to steal Nobukata to win the game. The problem too is like with their agenda suite, we have to steal 3 agendas. Well, that's gonna happen no matter what, but that's difficult. And now we just want to keep cards in hand so they don't have like a scoring window in their remote server. We lost our inside job, which is pretty bad. I do think this is a defensive upgrade. It has to be, but here they're just gonna like hunker down. And unfortunately, it's like very hard for us to run DNA tracker. We lost every single Amakua, so now like we're relying on our 3 breakers, like our Paperclip Unity Galter. All right. We're not going to do much this turn. Boomerang's nice. Gives us a way to deal with DNA tracker. That's not the worst. We're feeling the core damage. The amount that we're running, I don't know if the Zenith chip was probably still worth it. Here we probably just need to click for credits. We just like all we have here is money and all they have is ice. Once they have 18 credits, we have to worry about fast advance from hand. Big deal actually is interesting too because it removes itself from game, right? So they actually can big deal out a Regenesis. So they could do it for 17 credits. Why is the deck running Unity over Mina? Hey, Augustus, how's it going? It doesn't cost 7. It's a lot cheaper than Amina. I think there's arguments you could go either way, but paying 7 for Amina sometimes is impossible, especially if you're holding it in your hand and you're worried about like running into net damage, right? Like you're playing against PE, like you just have to cast it for 7 right then and there, and that is very difficult. Now, again, DNA trackers, yeah, we would pay 7 for Amina, no doubt, but like there's a huge trade-off there. Like generally with these sort of decks, you start going most of the distance with Amakua and then you only install Unity later. Cat's Cradle, mind you, is comparable for sure. Force the Res on HQ. Why? But we can't really. Like, we can't afford to pay a single on this thing. Maybe we can. They definitely have agendas in hand. But, like, they res on a Nancy here. That's a worse trade for us than them. Yeah, man. This is not good. All our economy. Like, we just probably click 4 here. I don't think there's anything that we have to do besides get more money. Is genotyping like labor rights, where you can play with 0 cards in deck and shuffle a full amount of back? Yeah. Yep. You can shuffle back in an empty deck, no problem, because trashing isn't part of the cost. Yeah, you only fail when you can't draw. All right, so that's an Obokata on top of a defensive upgrade. We've lost the game. If that's an Anemone and that's an Obokata, we've lost the game. We haven't seen any NGO fronts, and I actually think that there's a chance it's an NGO front, considering that what they need here is money. But like, it's a really hard game to play because if we don't run it, we lose. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to pinhole the upgrade and then come in. I worry that we don't have the money for that, but I feel like we just have to start there. Yeah, so imagine we forced the res on HQ and paid like 7 for a single. Like maybe we stole an agenda. Okay, that's why they were quick to do that. Yeah, this is 6 credits. This is a lot. Gets a flip though. There might be an agenda in there, and just flipping is important. Like we don't have enough. Well, we will have enough cards to steal an Obokata in there. Yeah, it's an NGO front. Okay, not surprised. Get the fuck out. Get out. We have to access that. Oh my God. Wild. I would not have played into that. Man, we're just going to hit one of those in central servers sooner than later. So we have to access that. I think it's really good in Glacier RH. Yeah, it probably is. I feel like this is good enough in like anything that has like big eyes. So we have to access this. So Gang says when the runner accesses, you may trash to the force the runner to counter res piece of ice in protecting the server. So now they have res dice. So here it's either we lose 6 and 3 cards or we break it for 6. So we're going to do the one that is a bit cheaper. So instead of paying 3, we paid 6. Was that amazing? Well, it was pretty bad for us. And now we're back to bluffing the NGOs or whatever. Yeah, I think we could have just left it there. I'm pretty sure it was an NGO front. It's just like, it feels bad when you don't do anything, you just lose. But yeah. We at least flushed the ganked out. Yeah. No, for sure ganked is good. That's cool. The thing is, like, no one respects it either. It's like no one plays around it. I don't know if you get a lethal limit, but it's definitely like, hey, it's just free damage. Like, fuck. Oh, man. I don't think we're gonna get cheap runs here, but like we literally are just click for Credit Club and then wait for them. They might score out in 2 turns. Like they might big deal from here. We don't gotta play. What's left in our 8-card stack? We've known most of it because we class acted and we haven't shuffled in a minute. So in terms of economy, we have no more Baradas. We have no sure gambles. We have no deuces. We have no Carpe Diem. I don't know what's in there. So they need 17 to score out. They, in theory, can win this turn. I think they do this and they just big deal. Oh, they didn't. Reprise is coming. Oh, you're right. We have reprise. So now here we have to just force them to spend credits, right? Could be a spin doctor. We've seen all the Rashidas. Could easily also be the tuned to ganked in this day and age. Core, how's it going? Yeah, no, we pinholed into a gank. Did they shuffle? Yeah, they brought the big deal back. They probably are only on one. Okay, so if that's a Regenesis, we lose, and like that's the beauty of Regenesis. So they can just put a Regenesis in here, and like if we don't run it, they win. If we run it, we're on 1 point. It's whatever. Yeah, they shuffled it back with the typing. I wonder if they're even not on Spin Doctor. So like we can always check archives for 6 credits. That means we can't check the remote servers. Again, to win, because we're not a Mad Dash in this deck, which is, you know, not that we're a good Mad Dash deck, but like there's a huge downside to not playing Mad Dash. The other option is like we can install the no one home and ideally save 4 credits on a Bathynomus and then see if they trace into it, which I don't think they can. Is this click worth 3 credits? I don't know. I feel like we have to check archives. Did they just discard a card? It doesn't say when they discard a card. Did they discard a card? I think they did. I just don't see how we generate, like, it's so hard for us to generate 2 more accesses to even have a chance at winning the game. Oh, man. I'd rather be playing Essa against this. If we had Essa, like, we actually do something. Okay. It's been in the bin since NGO turned? Oh, it will say in the log, right? Let's see. NGO ganked. Credit. It doesn't say, does it? I don't know. When did you discard the card into archives? Oh, well, we wouldn't have flipped it when we pinholed, right? So it could have been there for a while. Because they've been using the restoring humanity for a bit. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think we can just generate enough access. I think we just click for 4 and hope they don't have it. Like, I don't think there's more economy in our deck. Wife and I are dying for more startup content? Oh, on the channel? Yeah. I think it's more likely though you see like easy standard content. There you go, big deal. Okay. Good game. Yeah, we're not suited for that at all. We made very few accesses. How many cards did we access? Hold on. 13. That's nowhere near enough. This one has good numbers. More startup will definitely happen when the next set comes out. Oh yeah, that's for sure. As soon as the new set comes out, startup gets some new cards. It doesn't get a rotation, just gets new cards. So that'll be huge for new content. I've no doubt this one has great numbers in it. That's kind of low for an oboe deck. That's not bad though, actually. That's really good. 20 is the best you can get in the format largely. So 19 is great. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, the GFIs are sick for Dash. So this is one of those like quintessential decks where like the GFI almost makes no sense. Like very simply is like the Global Food Initiative seems like it makes no sense because there is almost no iteration. Well, there's very few iterations where we don't win on 3 agenda steals, right? Unless we steal 2 Regenesises. So like food, Obokata, that puts us to Oh, actually, no, it's a bit better. It's a bit better because there is 1-pointers in there. Like this will have a really good math. But like the thing I want to say is if you're only running global katas and global food initiatives, say there was no regenesis in the equation, and I think it's probably 2 foods, 3 obos. It's in a really good spot because it's very good to mad dash still. The mainly protect runner winning off of 2 3s and a regenesis. I made this deck counter. I love genotyping in RH. Are you on any spin? Yeah, regenesis is like so good into Essa too. It's like if you can Ice-Up Archives and Essa Sabotages, if you can use it to work for you, and I don't know if this deck is on like Sansan or other ways to square the regenesis, I think you just put it in the remote server. And like all this ice is like a nightmare for Essa to deal with. But that being said, I'd rather be Essa than this Sable deck in this matchup by a mile. Like they have 11 cards left in R&D. This to me is wild. Like that's the biggest ice in the format. Like this looks like an Ag Infusion deck. I think if we face check and they feel like they're res one of these pieces of ice, which at this point in the game they don't, like they can just let us go through. I don't know how they big deal out of it. There's no 3 genotyping, 1 simulation reset, 1 board control for Doof and Shastushka. I don't know if you, this is your deck. I don't know if you're worried about Shastushka. Yeah. I feel like there's some over tech there in this. I don't know if like the economy can hear, but like, yeah, no, I'd rather be Essa into this matchup for sure. Have to turn in, but always the stream is my highlight of the week. Hey, JM, cheers. Yeah, we're going to shut the stream off. Wow, it got a bit late too. That's wild. Thanks so much for the game, eh? Man, there's a lot of S respect there. It wasn't an anemone 2 there, so we would have died if we kept going that one time. Cozy errors though. Hey, okay. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks to Pat for dropping by. Glad that he's feeling better. Apologies for the Jinteki salt. I don't think the Sable deck is worth pursuing. Not in this form, for sure. I feel like, yeah, it's really hard. If you play the run-based stuff and you play into anything that's playing big ice, like I think you're just done. Like I think you're cooked. So I think you have to play economy that's not attached to your deck, and then you have to build like specific. Like that's the problem. It's like against those sort of decks, you just can't run your mark every turn. So I don't know why if you pursue it at all. Which is no surprise. But that being said, there's a lot of stuff I think it runs through. So we'll see. We'll see. For those who are at circuit openers this weekend, best of luck. Excited to see the decks, excited to see all that sort of stuff. Good luck organizing all that other stuff. Otherwise, we'll be back in a week. Hey, Cody, just got the end of the stream. Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks, you too. We'll try and get a video up. I might do some recording tomorrow afternoon, maybe if I can. But we might have a video up next week. Maybe we don't. We'll see. Thanks for streaming. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thanks for all the games, all the folks we played online, and we'll catch you in a week.